Let's do the AM news now. And government is in high-stakes battle against time to evict illegal miners whose activities are dangerously encroaching on critical gas pipelines. The threat is particularly dire for the Awomaso pipeline, which supplies the newly commissioned 250-megawatt thermal power plant in Kumasi. Energy company Gensa has identified 15 high-risk sites in the western and Ashanti regions where Galamsey operations are not only damaging communication cables but also jeopardizing pipeline integrity. The consequences of inaction could be catastrophic. A pipeline rupture could unleash a devastating explosion, decimating entire communities along its path. Clinton Yeboah has more in the following report.
GENSA aids in gas supplies to critical thermal plants across the country, including the Kumasi 1 thermal power plant. This encroachment comes at a time when Ghana already struggles to meet its daily peak gas demand, a situation that could worsen into crippling nationwide power shortages if supplies are disrupted. GENSA warns that tempering or rupturing the lines could trigger catastrophic explosions, wiping out entire communities in their path. Vice President of Operations at GENSA Energy, Henry Abeku Opon, disclosed that the threats was uncovered by monitoring teams in Galamsey-prone corridors.
We've identified several prone areas. We have more than 50 communities we've identified as, Galamsey-prone areas where the activities normally interrupt or cut our communication cables. And we've actually identified all of these communities where we've intensified surveillance monitoring systems. Western region, I wouldn't be able to, fully reveal, but there are a lot of areas in the Western region. Galamseys are very active in the Western region. Our pipeline, Western region to Ashanti region, these areas are areas we are battling and working assiduously to ensure the communities are well sensitized to understand that some of these operations are very harmful to the operations of the pipeline and can become real threats to the community. So we work with the communities effectively to ensure that they accept that their operations these levels of operations could harm and become a threat to the safety of the communities.
For JoyNews, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
Away from that, the opposition MPP has vowed to offer protection to its members during the Akwatia by-election, despite the assurances by the Ghana Police Service that it will deploy thousands of officers to the area to ensure ultimate security. The Electoral Commission has, however, announced that it will begin printing ballot papers for the Akwatia by-election on August 20. The following report captures more.
The Ghana Police Service, political parties, and also the Electoral Commission have just concluded a meeting on the modalities and security arrangements for the upcoming Akwatia by-elections. Well, the Electoral Commission has made it public that they will begin the printing of ballot papers for that particular by-elections on Wednesday, the 20th of August 2025. Several concerns were raised by the various political parties, especially the main opposition political party, the MPP, whose representative here, the party's national organizer, Nana Boakye, said that the police has yet to give them the assurance that they will deal with the people who perpetrated violence at the Ablekuma North elections.
Recently, there were some few guys who made some comments on social media. The police, in their view, thought that it was a threat to our peace. They effected arrest. And as I speak, yesterday, they were released. So we also pointed this out to Ghana Police, that if you can make such quick arrest, how is it difficult for you to arrest people who've caused these problems over a month ago? But again, they assured us that they are going to have some arrest and they are going to make sure that they instill the confidence that is needed for us to go into the Akwatia by-elections. So that is what they have said. But we have also mentioned it to them that as we speak, we lack that requisite confidence in the Ghana Police, especially because of what happened in Ablekuma North, where the people are, the images are all over, the people are seeing. For me, my deputy, he had almost about 20 guys on him. The videos is all over, there are images all over. So we also pointed this out to the Ghana Police.
Meanwhile, the NDC's Rashid Tanko Computer says his party was happy with the modalities that were laid out by the Ghana Police Service.
Deployment plan indicating they are bringing all their regional commanders and then their POMAC members to beef up security, and that they are not going to leave any stone unturned to make sure that there's enough security at the place. And so they are not expecting anybody to come with any macho men or personal security and all that. The EC also brief us what they intend to do in terms of accreditation. They will make sure that all our leadership who are going to do the monitoring observation will be given accreditation. And we are very clear in our mind that the NDC, we are committed to the peace plan, the process they've put in place. But we are mindful of the activity of our opponent who will come in there with dangerous weapons. You remember what happened at Blake-Manoff? That triggered all this problem.
The Akwatia by-election is happening on the 2nd of September 2025, which is just 2 weeks away from now. And of course, the stakes has never been this high. Both the NDC and the MPP in particular will be hoping to win this to augment their numbers in Parliament. From the police headquarters, my name is Kenneth Jesse for JoyNews.
Well, the Minister for Transport, Joseph Bukari Nikbe, has cited some staff of the Ministry for illegal sale of buffer land to encroachers. The minister made the revelation during an inspection tour of the Akwatia Railway as he announces a joint national security and lands commission operation to carry out a massive demolition of structures encroaching on railway lines across the country.
We are working with the national security and we are going to work with the lands commission. There's going to be massive demolition of structures that are on the right of way of the Railway Development Authority. And when that is done, we will quickly get the Lands Commission to help us put titles to all our lands. I shouldn't miss words to say that it is from our own workers who are selling our lands to the encroachers. And that is one thing that we are dealing internally. We will not spare any of our workers. If we trace to see that you have sold our land, we will take you on. And you will be ready to settle whoever you have taken money from for us to have these public assets for the public use. We need to reserve something for all of us. Public use. These lands were secured by our first president, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, for the use of public. Ask yourself, if you are just an individual seeking to take public lands for your own individual use, are you serving yourself good? Because you yourself and your family or whoever you have will also need to move. This is just to facilitate our movement and enhance our trade and tourism. Now you are blocking, and tomorrow it will get the opportunity to expand. Because of you, we cannot more expand for the general public. I think that as Ghanaians, we should begin asking ourselves, we still have more land in this country. Why will you want to use that as is reserved for the general public? We want to caution that if you are on our right of way land, please begin to do your own movement before we come on you.
Well, Ghana's waste crisis persists, not for lack of effort, but for lack of political will and investment. With infrastructure lagging and financing unsustainable, the International Solid Waste Association's maiden conference in Accra rallied stakeholders to demand urgent, innovative action. Elsie Tection has more in this report.
Speaking at the International Solid Waste Association ISWA Maiden Conference, the president of Solid Waste Association of Ghana, SWAG, NSQC, commended the efforts of private waste management organizations, but stressed the need for government to step up in infrastructural financing and sustainable waste solutions that go beyond rhetoric.
We are also having challenge with waste financing. There are a lot of issues with waste generation. And if we can tackle waste generation, we need waste infrastructure. And the waste infrastructure also requires that we are committed with capital.
On her part, the Chief Executive Officer of the Environmental Protection Authority, Professor Nanama Brown Kluche, highlighted steps being taken to curb plastic use in Ghana. She assured Ghanaians that the battle against plastic is in phases and it is a battle that will be won.
We have the laws, we have the guidelines to even go ahead with the ban. But we also understand that we are dealing with Ghanaians, we are dealing with people with businesses, we are dealing with people who have a culture of using rubbers. We want to start slow, as I had always irritated. We ban in phases. So different types of plastics that we have, we want to first concentrate on the ones that gives us most waste.
According to the chair of ISWA's technical committee, Deji Fawule, the era of endless paperwork and lip service is over. He called on all stakeholders to stop hiding behind politics and join forces with ISWA to drive bold, sustainable solutions that Ghana desperately needs.
So what this conference is aiming to do is to bring people together from all sectors, from all walks of life. Let's talk. Let's collaborate. Let's find solutions. Let's discuss what are the problems. Let's discuss who has a solution. How can we implement? How can we move forward? If it's financing, technology, operations, let's talk about it and let's go in the right direction so that next year or 2 years we come back here, there are success stories to be told.
Well, the Central Region is making giant strides toward universal health coverage with over 20,000 vulnerable people registered under the National Health Insurance Scheme this year alone. At the authority's 2025 mid-year review meeting in Winneba, the acting Central Regional Director, Kojo Setre Koi Thompson, revealed that the region's monthly indigent registration has increased from 1,000 to 5,000, a significant leap from previous years. He expressed optimism that this milestone will place the Central Region among the top 3 performing NHIS directorates in the country. Abigail Esel Nkrumah has more in this report.
At the mid-year review meeting of the Central Regional Directorate of the National Health Insurance Authority, the acting Central Regional Director of the authority, Kojo Setre Koi Thompson, noted that the region is lagging behind in achieving a universal health coverage.
One of the areas that we have to look out for is how we'll be able to achieve universal health coverage as a region, because we are actually lagging behind. Over the years, the story has been 13th in the national ranking. That is not what we seek to do. We want to be among the first 3 in the national ranking as we move to 2026. As we speak, we have changed, or we have metamorphosized from 1,000 for a month to 5 kind for more. That is 5,000 indigent for a month. We are poised and optimistic that we will be able to turn the story around and make the branding very bright and make Central Region very bright and be a force to reckon with. With you and I being determined, dedicated, and committed, I think it is possible and the researching can come to force.
On the sideline following the meeting, Daniel Kofi Yamade, the Regional Operations Manager, indicated that although the Central Regional Office of the NHIS reached about 70% of its membership, there is still more room for improvement.
I think looking at our performance in terms of our target, we've achieved almost 70% of our membership. But if we should match it against our population, that is around 38%. Which we think that is quite low, and that there's a need for us to do better. We want to assure the region that by the close of this year, we're going to do more. There's a segment of the population that we call indigent. Those who cannot afford, they are supposed to enroll free of charge. And that's our main target within this period. And we believe that by the close of the year, we should have a lot of our vulnerable people onto the scheme so that they also benefit. Because NHIS is there for the vulnerable, not for the rich or affluent.
The Jumako District Manager of the authority, Reverend Godfrey J.B. Arthur, mentioned efforts made to register people in remote areas.
By the mid-year 2025, we were able to make some inroads to be the best districts in the region, the Central Region. We try to reach the poor in the communities to register them. Some of them in the hinterlands, they are very poor. So in collaboration with the opinion leaders in the community, we brought them together, then did the registration for them. That is what we did.
From Winneba, Abigail Esel Nkrumah reports for JoyNews.
Well, the Right to Information Commission, established to promote transparency and accountability in governance, is facing a severe crisis. Despite its critical role in ensuring Ghanaians have access to public information, the Commission is crippled by extreme understaffing, jeopardizing its ability to fulfill its nationwide mandate. My colleague Maxwell Akwatia has more in this report.
The Rights to Information Commission in Ghana is facing significant challenges as it marks its 50th anniversary. Despite being established to promote transparency and accountability, the Commission is struggling with inadequate staffing, which is undermining its ability to function effectively nationwide. The Commission's head of legal affairs, Stephen Owusu, acknowledges that the current staff strength is insufficient to match the scope of its work.
We are required to register presence in all the regions. As we speak, we were giving clearance for 120 members of staff. Okay, but the Public Services Commission, I remember, gave us clearance for 360. Okay. So the 120 falls far short of what the Public Services Commission has recommended should be the staff strength of the Commission. We are establishing in Cape Coast and Tamale by the end of the year. We need people in those areas. If you look at the staff strength in Kumasi to cater for Ashanti region, we need more numbers there. They are supposed to go to schools, go to institutions to sensitize management and staff, and at the same time monitor compliance. So we need more numbers to be able to do all this.
Despite these challenges, the Commission says it remains committed to carrying out its core mandate. Executive Secretary Shirley Latte assures that the Commission will continue to operate effectively while seeking solutions to address the staffing and logistic constraints.
As a Commission, we continue to sensitize these institutions. We write to them, we train their information officers. They are mandated to have information officers in every institution. They have to have a designated desk for right to information activities. And as a Commission, we go out regularly to educate these information officers and the institution so that they would know what to do when individuals or institutions or the citizens come forward with requests to these institutions.
The Commission urges all institutions to maintain compliance with the Right to Information Act, ensuring a smooth operation for accessing information. This call emphasizes the importance of cooperation in promoting transparency and accountability across Ghana. For JoyNews, Maxwell Akwabotu's report read to you.
Let's do business updates now. And government has released some 9.7 billion cedis as coupon payment for restructured domestic bonds. The Ministry of Finance, in a release, confirmed this transaction. We have more in this report.
The Finance Ministry in a statement did confirm that the payment was made today. The ministry also revealed that this brings the total amount paid by government for the restructured domestic debt exchange bonds this year at 19.4 billion cedis. It also maintained that the payment again confirms the government's commitment to honoring the terms outlined in the Memorandum of Understanding signed under the debt exchange program, as well as aid investor confidence and government's fiscal credibility. The Finance Ministry argued that to ensure that future payment does not suffer, as announced in the media budget, two separate sinking funds have been established, that is, a CD sinking fund and dollar sinking fund. These funds will provide liquidity buffers to aid timely payment of maturing papers and other payment obligations from next year to 2028.
Well, the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, Joseph Paddy, says the limited supply of dollars is taking a toll on businesses. In an interview with Joy Business, he urged the Bank of Ghana to expedite investigations into the issue to ensure traders can access the needed foreign exchange to import goods.
It has affected the business community significantly, very widely. For example, some of our people travel to China waiting to get their transfer, and they get their transfer are still not in, and they have to travel back to Ghana with that. And then, one of the areas that if you don't pay the invoice value, your customer or your client will not release the goods to you. And even at times, some of the goods will come to Ghana, and for you to get your bill of lading, you have to make sure you pay. Meanwhile, you've sent the money to the commercial bank, but the money is not being transferred. So it delays our activities. We had one of our members who traveled as far as to China and have to come back without getting his goods because the money could not be transferred from Ghana. So it's a worrying situation for the business community. We're still looking forward to a positive reaction from the central bank to let us know why this is happening. And when it happens, when it happens, what comes out is that speculation. We begin to speculate. Is it that there's a shortage of dollar? Therefore, the little one that we have in the system, we begin to rush for it. And when we rush for it, if we are not careful, we see it the dollar appreciating again. So we want to get rid of this speculation that if it's true that there's so much foreign in the system, then where the challenge is coming from, we need to know. And that's what we're waiting for. We're looking forward to hear from the governor again. He has assured that he's going to meet us again, and where the challenge is going to bring to our fore what was the cause, the main cause. But as long as they are concerned, as a commercial bank, they know there's foreign in the system.
Well, let's wrap the business update with what's happening on the commodities market. Come back to the AM show. Time for us to bring you what the papers are reporting this morning. And to help us do this, we have Dr. Kwame Asante, who is head of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, and also a former government spokesperson on governance and security, Dr. Palgrave Danko. He is with us in studio. But remember that AM show is sponsored by Syntex Tanks Ghana. Let's talk water tanks now. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the torches on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The torches tank, Syntex tank, is a champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather, rain or shine. Syntex tank has got your back. So go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a torches on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Call 0244 335168 to buy it now or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. Well, let's get into the papers, and MFA Adeti joins. Hi, good morning, MFA.
Good morning. Ahanta Pele.
Yeah,
how you feeling this morning, Doc? How you feeling? You look nice and red.
Thank you so much, MFA. And
it's good that we're introducing the Ahanta Pele to Doc, so
he gets used to it. Doc, I hope that you're well as well. Dr. Kwame Asante, I hope you're well this morning.
Okay. So Dr. Kwame Asante will be coming up very shortly so that we can have this interaction. Now, I have with me the BNFT. On the front page, it says, Kenya's president applauds Zoom Lion. What will it take for cement prices to drop? That's a question being asked. 9.7 billion Ghana cedis coupons paid on DDEP bonds. Payout steadies investor sentiment. Cotton sector sleeps on $6 billion potential. That's it there. PRC urges utility consumers in Ashanti region to fulfill obligations. The News Center newspaper, BOG 60 billion cedis mop up to fight inflation. Inimical, according to the minority, comes with a photograph of Kojo Opon Nkrumah. Momo First returns with electrifying season 2 launch in Bukom, and tribunal to hear appeals against gold board inaugurated. Okay. BOG cracks down on bad loans. Akwatia warns against one-size-fits-all governance. And so those are the stories on the front page of the News Center. The Observer says domestic debt exchange program, big payday for bondholders as government disburses 9.7 billion cedis. Gold board tribunal inaugurated. Ken Ejapon is a leader to secure jobs for the next generation, message Japan to MPP youth, and GHA intensified repair works on Ofanko in Sawam Road.
Right. Doc, would you like to tell us what you have on your newspaper?
Okay, on Daily Guide front page, I have court orders Adamus Australia to pay Adamus Ghana $50,000 cost. Galamsey tax force arrests 4 soldiers for illegal mining. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo urges stronger institutions for Africa's development. And court stops Reggie Manuel Gray estate takeover on the center spread of the Daily Guide. Page 6, minority condemns disruption at Ridge Hospital. And Finance Ministry, UN deepen partnership.
Okay, I've got the Daily Graphic this morning, and Mismanagement of Public Funds, Public Accounts Committee vows value for every CD. We'll bring you details of that when we can. And it says that chases scholarship beneficiary for refund. It's got the chairperson for the Public Accounts Committee, Abna Osei Asari, in front of the Daily Graphic. And as well, helicopter cash fund accrues 2,315 million Ghana cedis so far. Details on page 13 of the Daily Graphic this morning. And as well, Get Fund earmarks funds for Colleges of Education project. Story on page 38. The Ghanaian publisher Akufo-Addo warning to Africa: strengthen institutions or risk collapse. I'm sure that Paul, we've already brought you that in front of the Daily Guide as well. Upon Nkrumah questions BOG sterilization policy. Stories on page 3. As well, the Ghanaian publisher is updating the story on minority slums lawless Ridge Hospital intrusion. We shall bring you details of that when we can as well. I've got the Accra Times as well, and it says that fallout from NPP amnesty brouhaha. Paula Foko speaks, but former Tescon organizer questions secrecy as well. It is a story I am quite interested in, so we shall bring you the details of that as well.
I also have the National Forum newspaper. It says follow the Zuma zooms into Ghana, and it has a photograph of former President Zuma of South Africa with former President John Agyekum Kufuor of Ghana. Now, follow the law. CWLA tells President Mahama key witness back CWLA, and it comes with a photograph of suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. So I'm sure it's in relation to that story. Now, Boko curfew reviewed, so that also tells us about what is happening in the curfew in Boko. But as we do always, we'll give our panel close to a maximum of 2 minutes to give us their reflections outside the newspaper. So, Doc, what we do here is I'll give you my maximum of 2 minutes to tell us what is it that you really want people to know outside what the papers are reporting.
Coach, a very good morning to you, and good morning to you, good morning to your viewing public. I haven't been to Joy this year, so Happy New Year to those that I haven't seen. To really wish and pray that we continually have a country that works, a country that is very structured, a country that is very sensitive to the needs of the citizenry, a country that is meeting up to the global standards that has been set. I mean, for me, I want a country that works. I think that shouldn't be too much to ask of any government that is in office.
Okay, so a country that works is his reflection. Do we have Dr. Kwame Asante now? Okay, Dr. Kwame Asante will be joining us shortly, and then we can, do this. But let me start with, okay, let's see which paper I want to start with. MFA, maybe we'll start with what is...
The Daily Graphic, the mismanagement of public funds, Public Accounts Committee vows value for every CD. In fact, one of the things that's in the news that I thought that would have maybe Dr. Dankwa's attention would be the report from the OSP, but maybe at some point we shall get into that. But yeah. But let's get into the Public Accounts Committee. I'll just read a portion of it. So the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament has stressed that it will ensure value for money for every CD Parliament authorized for public spending in 2024. This, the committee said, was to deepen citizens' confidence in the country's public financial administration. At the first public sitting of the committee in the 9th Parliament to examine the 2024 Auditor General's report, the chairperson of the committee, Abna Osei Asare, said the committee would continue with the good work of the previous committee, especially with the 8th Parliament, and says that we're determined not to only raise the bar, but to strengthen oversight and demand even greater consequences for mismanagement of the public funds stock. How do you assess the Public Accounts Committee's performance as of the 8th Parliament? This is just the first sitting. One thing will interest you. Yesterday, the leadership of the Cyber Security Authority met with them. One of the things that the leadership mentioned to the Public Accounts Committee was that there's high attrition in that sector, and that it is mainly because of the remuneration. They do not receive very good compensation, and so persons tend to want to seek greener pasture or even better job opportunities outside of the country. But with the new chairperson saying that they're going to be not just raising the bar or the standard, they're going to ensure that beneficiaries who received certain benefits for scholarship would refund. I want to understand who is supposed to be refunding what. Is it not the person that awarded the scholarship if the person didn't deserve to be awarded?
If you recall that I began my conversation by stating that I want to see a country that works. And I think that one of the key ingredients of a country that works is a country that is able to keep its various institutions accountable for what they find themselves involved in. And I would ask the Public Account Committee to ensure that all spendings that are made in country by various institutions are clearly accounted for. We don't want issues and challenges where people are either mismanaging funds that have been given to them or misappropriating resources that have been given to them. We want to be able to see a country that works in the value chain of the value scope of the country, and which is why for us, the opposition, NPP, and even for myself as an academic, it's important that we stick to full proof of what the Public Account Committee is supposed to do, and we would endorse whatever suggestions and recommendations that they put to being.
Okay. Well, if this one would interest you, says that the Gets Fund as well has earmarked funds for College of Education projects. But let's stay a little bit on one of the things that the Public Accounts Committee says that it will be looking into carefully. You may have heard a lot of challenges with the scholarship beneficiaries, especially a cascading effect of last year, persons who were awarded scholarships under the previous government, and then this year, some of them stranded, not just in the UK, but nearly all over. Some of them not knowing, not certain whether they're supposed to still be there or even come back. People just say, why won't the government just, make some funds available? And the government says, if the funds are not available, how can I make them? Where is the balance? How can we really deal with this issue?
Well, I think it's important for us as a country to realize that developing our people is part of the structure of the country that we need. It's important that we expose our young elite to be able to have opportunities to study further, either in master's or PhD level, and get the requisite skills that they need across the world. And government after government must be responsible for that. In this country, I'm aware that every single purchase that you make a contribution to Get Fund. And so everything that you buy in this country, there's a percentage of about 2.5 or so that goes to Get Fund so that people can be able to get scholarships. I'm aware that successive governments give scholarships, but once government gives scholarship, it's only for sustenance and for academics, and so you're also expected to raise an aspect of it for you. I'm aware that local scholarship is about 50% of that, and foreign scholarship sometimes weighs a bigger tone on the government-based budget, because if you are sponsoring X number of students across the world, people are going to China, people are going to the US, people are going to Europe, people are going to UK, and people are going to study. And so if government is unable to raise the requisite resources for that, it's important that persons that have been given scholarships as well are able to augment. I know that in successive governments, they have tried their best, especially in the Akufo-Addo led government. We tried our best to ensure that people have opportunities to study outside. But one of my key suggestions would be that if there are courses that can be done locally in Ghana, I would suggest that persons don't immediately want to look for opportunities outside. If you can do some courses in Ghana, we have very good universities in Ghana, clearly accredited by JTech, that are doing very good curriculums that you can do to be able to get good work in Ghana to do. If you can do those courses in Ghana and you don't need to travel outside, I think that the Scholarship Secretariat and the GET Fund and the other recognized institutions should be able to ensure that we recall such people to come back to Ghana, or either decide not to grant them their scholarships that they are doing. People have also decided that they will do how we call it in the West, educational tourism. So they are looking for opportunity to migrate outside of their country to the West, and so they would continue to school. So they do one master's after another master's after another master's, and then they do a PhD that is taking almost like 5 years to complete, and that almost always weighs a tone on government. And I would suggest that in the year of every successive government, either in an election year or not, they should try and make sure that there's a mechanism not to grant long-term scholarships. So people are going for PhD, and maybe in an electioneering year, you are granting a PhD that's going to take about 4 years for them to finish. That is going to weigh a tone on a government should you lose an election. And so we need to be able to look at all those permutations.
Okay. Kojo, we've got Suleiman Abrahima joining us, Executive Director for Media Foundation West Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. And what really has your attention is midweek. What's in the news that has your attention? I like to preempt that it's definitely that half-yearly reports from the Special Prosecutor, but I like to hear you.
Well, good morning. I hope you can hear me. Unfortunately, I find myself in a situation where perhaps there will be a little bit of noise on the background. I cannot control that. Certainly, the Auditor General, the media report of the Office of the Special Prosecutor is of interest. I'm yet to take a critical read. I think I was on the road when I learned it's been released. But I basically glanced through and I could see a number of cases that are being investigated or prosecuted. And I think for many, maybe we've gotten to the point where we really have to perhaps see a lot more tangibles in terms of either convictions or retrieval or confiscation of assets than maybe having predominantly an update, which is basically to re-echo the point that we are investigating this, we are prosecuting that, and all of that. But given that I haven't fully read the report, I think I would end it at that. I think the matter of scholarships, as my brother was talking about, is still a matter of significant importance. But it only means that we have to do our things right. If you look at the Auditor General's report, you can basically conclude that there is a lot of wrongs that are done by the people who are supposed to administer our scholarships. So, for example, you look at the Auditor General's report for scholarships 2012 to 2018, and the report finds that out of about 3,112 beneficiaries of GET Fund, and remember that the GET Fund scholarship is meant for people to study in country. GET Fund does not have the mandate to award foreign scholarships. But in that report, 2012 to 2018, it concludes that out of the 3,112 beneficiaries, 2,217 of them were scholarships that were unlawfully granted for people to study abroad. So essentially, we end up, first of all, committing infractions against the law. And there is another Auditor General's report that suggests that in a year where the budget for scholarships by the Scholarship Secretariat was just around 160,000 or so, we ended up awarding scholarships to the tune of over 400 million. And I mean, you have a budget of about 160, 170 million. How do you award scholarships to about 400 and to the tune of about 400 and something million? And how do we pay? I think that is why we are in the situation that we find ourselves in. I agree that we have to empower our human resource and all of that. But you have situations where people are looking for 3,000 Ghana cedis for studies in a university in Ghana. The scholarship secretariat says, well, we don't have the money. And yet they can find money for somebody to do a 3-week program at the Kennedy School in Harvard and pay thousands of dollars. So I think it's all about mismanagement of our institutions, which perhaps cuts across. But the scholarship secretariat is perhaps quite worse. And if we want to get ourselves out of the situation that we are in, where students, our brothers and sisters are crying out there for being evicted, for being thrown out, and so on, we just have to do our things right.
But Mr. Brima, I mean, year in, year out, we hear about these infractions and these, flouting of the law, and it keeps happening. So when can this end, or what must happen for all of these infractions and slighting of the law? And after all these reports by the Auditor General every year about infractions in all of this?
Well, it comes down to leadership, and leadership not in the context of just the scholarship secretariat or the people who manage our scholarships, but leadership at the topmost level. Okay. Like you're saying, why would all these years the scholarship secretariat has been under the office of the president, and so of course the president may not have direct, supervision, but somebody will be designated as the one supervising it from the office of the presidency. The reality is that the scholarship administration, who gets scholarships and all of that, is politicized. And so at the end of the day, instead of merit-based scholarships, it becomes partisan scholarships. And we saw the report that was done by the Fourth Estate about a year or two ago in terms of the beneficiaries. When we are told that scholarships are supposed to go to the brilliant and needy, we have people whose parents could afford to buy over 260 buses, for a political party, being classified as needy and getting national scholarship. So it is the abuse that is characterizing the way we do things that has continued to put us in the situation that we are in. And so long as it is politicized, if the NDC is in power now and they choose to give to NDC foot soldiers, then what do we do? What can the president do? What can the minister do? Because to touch them, you touch your political base. So I think it is about the courage to do the right things that would get us out of the situation that we are in.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we now bring in Dr. Kwame Asante, Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Doc, thank you for joining us today. What really has your attention in the news so far?
Yeah, briefly, I want to look at the Akwatia by-election and what it portends for all of us. Elections always need to be organized in a free and a fair manner, devoid of irregularities and rigging and the rest of them. We have seen in this country by-election that have gone down very much of concern to our society. We can talk about the 2009 Akwatia by-election that led to a lot of violence. We had to call in the military to restore order. The 2009 election of Chiriponi by-election, somebody died, properties were destroyed and all that. 2010, a Tiwa by-election was marred by violence. We had to bring in the security forces to restore calm. 2019, the worst of all, that is the Ayawaso West Wugon. It is my hope and prayer that the way political parties are telling themselves that they will prepare and defend themselves at Akwatia, there is nothing wrong defending yourself using the law, but it should not cross anybody's mind that they want to go there and, inflict pain, cause mayhem, and at the end of the day, bring violence to bear on the election. Ghana's democracy cannot suffer from the activities of hoodlums who are in political parties and who want to, turn the clock of democracy backwards. we will rise up and challenge them. I am happy with the work of the IGP, calling the stakeholders yesterday that let peace prevail. In election, all that you need is your message, your strategy, and how you win. And this has been out of reach of many political parties, particularly the two giant political parties in this country. It's unfortunate because they have always considered these elections are nothing but a do or die affair. But election is not like that. It's a contest. You win or you lose. And when you lose, you accept defeat and abide by the rules of the game. And congratulate the winner. That's the spirit behind democracy. Let us work to save this democracy. That's the only one we have.
But Dr. Asante, I mean, can the police also be, because since by the rerun of the 19 polling stations in Ablekuma North and the sort of, the beatings that we saw there, we haven't heard much about prosecutions and what have you. Can't we then cite the police as being part of the reasons why political parties will say, I will take the initiative to protect myself because the police cannot be relied upon?
Yeah, one of the problems is that the police appear to be, hands appear to be tied because, hey, you touch one, especially those in government, if you touch any of their foot soldiers, you are you incur the wrath of the political office holders. So what do you expect the police to do? In this country, we have politicized everything to the extent that the security forces who are supposed to be neutral, we want to push them into the arena of politics. That's unfortunate, and that's what we see. If we allow the police a free hand to operate as an independent body, I can tell you without fear of contradiction that the police will lift up their game and then perform as expected of them. But more often than not, political actors have held their hands at their back and they still want them to defend and protect them. That's unfair to the police service. They will do their best, but we as a society decide that, or political actors decide that they will not want the police to work. I'm afraid the police cannot do much.
Well, yesterday again, the IGP has been assuring that there will be no need for the deployment of the military because they were going to deploy a little over, if not exactly, 5,000 police officers. I mean, we have seen it will not be the first by-election that we have seen. Paul, I'm going to come to you, but I still want to stay with Sulemana because you have been quite vocal about violence, election violence, that especially journalists or even individuals go through when there's a by-election. And it seems as if by-elections are gaining some notoriety for violence. Now, is it okay if the IGP says that, well, I'm deploying 5,000 men, and so we'll not need the military? Is this okay?
Well, they are security people, and I suppose that they may have done their analysis to come to that conclusion. And of course, we have to remember this is just one constituency. It's not, a national exercise. If we have a situation where our police cannot handle one constituency elections, then I guess that we are in trouble as a country. The most recent by-election, I think, was the Asin Central or
Asin North.
The North one. And I think that the police managed the elections quite well. I believe that we have a very, very professional police institution. It's just that sometimes, once again, the issue of politics tend to undermine the professionalism and the capacity of the police. But again, I think it's all about leadership. If the leadership of the Ghana Police Service would want to show that they would back their men on the ground to do the right thing, enforce the laws, and the police officers on the ground know that once I am on the right side of the law, my leadership will protect me, then they certainly have the capacity to be able to ensure that there is peace, law, and order. But sometimes we have, leaders who would rather throw their men under the bus when it comes to the crunch in order to save their position. And if the men on the ground realize that, well, that is the kind of leadership that we have. If I enforce the law and it's against a political person, I'm likely going to be interdicted or I'm going to be transferred arbitrarily, then they may also sometimes be cowed. But I just want to hope that, given that it's just a one constituency election, the police should be able to manage it fairly well.
Well, back in studio, Holger, how is the NPP headed to Akwatia?
Well, let me pay tribute to Ernest Kumi. Ernest was in Adisadel College, my junior in Adisadel College, to his wife and family.
Oh, he was a junior.
Very sad incident that happened to him. We're going to win the Akwatia election. I think that we have to win that election for Ernest and for the New Patriotic Party. I think that as we have done for Tamale, we stayed away from the election because Salah Mohammed and we continue to hold that seat. I think that we would ask the NDC to give the seat to us. We're preparing very well for Akwatia. But my question is, why should someone die for someone to go to Parliament? I don't understand why we are electing people to represent us in the 9th Parliament, and yet still we would have people that would die. Why should elections be associated with violence? Why should it be so? Why should Africa always have reports of people dying? Why should Africa always have reports of houses being burned, offices being burned, ties being burned? Why should we always have that? Why can't we have a peaceful election? Why can't we have a free election? Why can't we have a non-violent election? Why can't we have an election where the police is just observing without anyone causing any issues? Why is it difficult to have a peaceful election? I struggle to understand, because I think that we are growing as a country. Our democracy is relatively, obviously, very young. We're still in our 30s. This Fourth Republic has been relatively very stable. But if you look at the issues that are associated continually with either main election, either by-election, either elections that has been done and results have not been declared yet, and the associated violence, why should that happen? Why should that happen? I mean, I don't think it's difficult to talk to people to say, go and vote for me on policy A, B, and C, and I would want to represent you. Why should
you? Are an active player in the political sector?
Absolutely.
Why is it difficult for political parties to allow the processes to run without?
I don't think that it should be difficult for any political party to allow the processes to work, unless, of course, one political party feels that one is having an on-head advantage, and so they would want to retaliate. But I believe in peace. I have always been a strong advocate of peace. I don't see the reason why one should go to Parliament to represent his or her people, and people should die as a result of that. I don't see the reason why one should either go to the Jubilee House as the president or even the vice president, and people should die as a result of that. I don't see the reason why. I think that we need to have an election that is free, fair. We need to have an election that is violence-free. We need to have an election where people are not, police are not either pulling water gun or pulling tear gas, where politicians are pulling firearms or pulling pepper spray. I mean, I shudder to think that we continually having elections in Africa, in Ghana, and we are always recording incidents that is chaotic. People are having their eyes being hit, somebody's head is being cracked, somebody's hand is broken, and all of that. I mean, I don't think that it's fair. I would want to entreat all political parties, the NDC in government, the NPP in the Akwatia by-election. I think that Akwatia has been a very good seat for the New Patriotic Party. We are poised to ensure that we retain the seat, and I would ask that the requisite security officials, the IGP is deploying his men. They should continually be professional in the dispatch of the...
Yesterday, they would move on to other topics, but just yesterday, the national organizer said that, well, yeah, we hear you, the IGP, assurances, but we're still headed to Akwatia, prepared, protected. What does that mean? What do you think he means?
I don't know. He spoke. I don't know what he means. You know, MFA, we need to be careful as a country, to be honest. You see,
okay.
If we don't manage our elections very well and manage, our peace comes at a cost. That's what people must realize. Our peace comes at a cost. And if we call for chaos, it also comes at a cost. And we need to ensure that we have a peaceful election. We have free, fair election, whether prepared or not. But we need to have a peaceful election. And I think that that's important.
Okay. Kojo, maybe we move on to that viral video.
Yeah.
You may have seen it. I have seen it. You watching as well. You may have seen a young man in a certain video that's coming from the Rage Hospital. You've also seen reactions from the minority in Parliament, especially the Health Committee, calling for some investigation and all. But if you have not seen it, I'll show you now.
Start doing something. Somebody needs to start doing something. So who is in charge, bro? No, I mean this is not needed. This is not needed. Let's just do the right thing. Somebody should just be inactive. Somebody should call somebody. Somebody should come and attend to somebody. That's it. That is all we are asking for. There should be any sense of agency, please. Mate.
What's
no, but you see, in as much as anyway, into right? Obi eso banebesha so say untimi mo obi pressure na higher gun it hurts. You understand? What do you mean by higher gun? Says a Ghana there obi betumi awusa aboa and nothing happens. I came here media way your minor. Yes, and go for emergency. Let's attend to them. Or the whole coach guy who point apple. So I want to do say then you need which was a higher Ghana. What do you mean higher Ghana? Da sad way be obia be when only put the house also be sabia, but professionally you try to calm them down and you go and attend to the person. Let me calm down. They're going to work on it. Calm down. Oh dear, you see, somebody should be around him. I don't know, so what I say. They didn't understood. What is happening? What is happening?
Well, yeah, you may have seen this video. It has sparked mixed reactions from various quarters. Maybe I'll start with you, Dr. Sasanti. Have you seen this video and what's your reaction? Well, the video is not enough to want to draw a conclusion. That's why many quarters are asking for investigation. But from just on the face of this video, what will be your reaction?
I must say that, this is my first time of seeing it. Yes, I haven't seen it. And very surprising to me about the turn of events there. I want to believe that the gentleman was talking about somebody who was hospitalized, who was taken there for treatment, and he's not being attended to. If I'm sure there's more to it, but what I support the call for investigation into matters of this nature, and that will unravel all the problems that are associated with this particular incident. If you go into it critically and you are not seized with all the facts, you are going to create a problem. But I will speak generally, not necessarily this because I'm not seized with all the facts. Sometimes you see the attitude of hospital attendants, health professionals. You go there and you have no attention. That is also a fact in some hospitals. And it becomes a problem when you are seeing somebody who needs help and then help is not coming. It's really, really worrying and all that. In addition to what? Negligence on the part of medical professionals on issues of what? Emergency or health issues. That aside, the attitude where people also want to pounce on the hospital and then demand, as it were, service is also unfair and improper. I believe that if anything of a sort, you need to what? At least contact health authorities in there. In every hospital, there are directors, there are people who matter and all that, that you can go and you talk to them and quickly they will come to your rescue. But having said all this, I believe that hospital must exist as hospital and serve people who are in need of their service. And when we also go there, we comport ourselves and get the services that we want. But nothing prevents anybody to report or make a case about what a service that you have received, which you are not, what it is not satisfactory. It is within your right, but there should not be any violence accompanying that.
Okay. Solomona, I'm not sure. I don't know if you have seen this video. You mentioned that you've been on the road yesterday and all, but the crux of it, following this video, the hospital has actually issued a statement and has acknowledged that the Greater Accra Regional Hospital is one of the busiest centers when it comes to emergency. They also acknowledged that that day they were quite overwhelmed with emergencies, and so because of this accounted for some high tensions at the emergency area on that day. This statement was signed by the public relations officer of that hospital and indicated that because of the situation and the tensions, one of the persons who had brought a patient in, which is this young man that we see in the video, ended up assaulting one of their dedicated nurses. This is just the background following the video that you're seeing. What's your reaction?
Well, just like my friend Dr. Asante, I hadn't seen the video. This is the first time. And so I cannot, even if I had seen it, I wasn't there. And so I cannot just draw conclusions on the basis of the video. It's unfortunate if a nurse was assaulted, no matter whatever the circumstances. I don't think that it would warrant an assault. An assault is an offense. And so if indeed there was an assault, that's really unfortunate and it has to be investigated and the law should take its course. But I agree with an earlier point made by Dr. Ansar Santi about the situation you find yourself in whenever you go to the public hospitals. I think the private hospitals, because it belongs to individuals, they try to ensure that their services are quite good in terms of customer service in order to continue to attract patients. But the reality is that, and I have doctor friends, I have friends who are nurses and all of that. The truth of the matter is that sometimes you go to these public hospitals and you cannot but just get angry. I mean, you see somebody sitting idle on their phone, either chatting away. You want to be attended to and somebody is on the phone talking and laughing, and you can see this is not work related. And so we have to also be honest with ourselves. And I could hear the guy saying that somebody remarked that this is Ghana. Yeah. And indeed, the this is Ghana attitude is all over. I mean, sometimes if you are lucky and you are not the patient yourself, you are there maybe to visit the patient. As I said, you cannot but get angry with the attitude that you see our health workers put out. In most cases, actually the nurses, not even the doctors themselves. So yes, the statement says that the hospital is a busy place. Indeed, it must be. If you go to 37, you go to Kolebu, you go to wherever, I'm sure you would be amazed at the numbers. But that also means that healthcare delivery is a crucial thing that we have to manage well. So in terms of ethics, in terms of professionalism, in terms of customer service, I think that we have to up our game. Otherwise, people can be really frustrated. People can be really agitated about the attitudes that they come to terms with whenever they are in these hospitals. The this is Ghana attitude must end. Yeah. People must deliver. People must work. And healthcare is about life and death. Yeah. And so we must encourage our healthcare service providers to be up and doing. Otherwise, the attitude now I don't think is very helpful.
Right. Thank you.
I mean, the point about that they don't have, they were overwhelmed by the emergency.
Indeed, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Ridge, it serves really large people when you go to the emergency.
But doesn't that create room for employment? And aren't we told we have nurses sitting home without being employed? Why can't we employ more? Or it's the resources that we don't have. I think the hospital should have an arrangement to use the IGFs to hire more hands. Because you have nurses who have been trained sitting home doing nothing. If indeed our hospitals are overwhelmed and it's about human resource, get these people there and find an arrangement to say, even though nurses are on this scale, but because we are paying you from our IGF, we'll pay you this level. You have some of them agreeing to work. I think this presents an opportunity for us to have a rethink about how we can, absorb the nurses being churned out by our various health training institutions, than to say, well, yes, you can be overwhelmed, but can we be creative enough about the solutions? Well, like Suleiman pointed out, you go to hospitals and you find nurses and some health workers on their phones. It becomes very irritating. How can we deal with all of that? Whilst we are condemning the attitude of the young man, because you can also attack people in hospitals for not doing their right work. You need to go by the legal means. They have complaint procedures. Take it. But can we address some of these challenges? Understaffing, there are nurses there, can we employ them? And can we find out how we can deal with the many challenges that confront the health sector?
Paul gave a sigh. He kept on, And was the young man's behavior or the...
I'm literally shocked. MFA, it's unfortunate this shouldn't have happened. The young man shouldn't have assaulted a health professional. Yeah. This shouldn't have happened at all. And I don't know why he's walking free. I mean, an assault is a crime.
Yeah.
Which must actually be determined by... The hospital cannot arrive at...
But he must be picked up immediately.
Right.
Let me build my point. Okay. I come from a medical family. My father was a medical doctor. And I have the greatest of respect for health professionals. Greatest of respect. Their work is extremely important, extremely sacrificial. I have been admitted in a sizable number of hospitals in Ghana. Rich Hospital, I've slept there for almost a month when I had COVID. Very great professionals that work there. Emergency is emergency. Let's look at it. Emergency hospital is emergency hospital. No patient has any right or family member has any right to video in an emergency hospital. You don't video in an emergency hospital. It's an invasion of privacy. The most vulnerable state of a human being is when the person is in the emergency ward. That's the most vulnerable state of a human being. This is unfortunate and shouldn't have happened. Number two, you take someone to a hospital. I don't know whether he was the one who was sick or he sent someone there.
From the video,
it looks like his hand.
From the full video,
okay.
He seemed to have been, he was bleeding.
He was the one,
well,
okay.
Went there and also saw some
and
others.
Also saw, okay. So let me tell you something, what happens in the emergency unit. In the emergency unit, MFA, there are various types of people that are there. Various consultants are always on call being consulted, okay? People are always being attended to. MFA, the fact that your hand is cut, okay, and look at it this way. The fact that your hand is cut, there are various veins and arteries in your hand. If the doctors see that the various veins that has been cut is not too dangerous to it affecting your heart for it to cause your death, and there are other emergency issues that they need to attend.
Are more serious,
they will attend to it. And so I find this situation extremely sad and extremely worrying, because if our health professionals cannot be at liberty to be able to attend to patients who are come in with emergency, then where are we? Why should a health professional be assaulted in that manner? Did you see the lady with the balls on her hand and something on her hand? Clearly means that the person has been assaulted very well. It's extremely unfortunate. I think that we need to be very careful as a society. We need to respect our health professionals. We need to ensure that people that have gone to school to become medical professionals, either emergency nurses, emergency doctors, emergency surgeons that work in emergency units. It's important that we accord them the respect. In fact, none of us here are medical professionals. So when we send people there, the requisite wisdom would be that we allow the people who have gone to school to do what they have to do, because there are processes and procedures that they need to go through. You don't become a hero by going to an emergency unit and videoing people when people are at their lowest vulnerable state.
But Doc, what lessons must we draw from this development, this happening?
My lessons are very simple. Everybody needs to be calm. I mean, people need to be calm. You see, people need to be calm. You agitate people and people give you an agitated response. Okay? I'm not sure someone would have said this is Ghana if the response that was given did not elicit such a response back. Okay? And this is not Ghana. That's what people must realize. This is not Ghana. All our professionals always go about their work professionally. Look at you, look at MFA. You guys have been up maybe about 3 a.m. going about your work. Before you do your 6 a.m. news, you would have gone through a lot of preparation for that. People have gone to medical school, they have studied. People have gone to become emergency nurses, emergency doctors, professionals who are working in emergency units. There is no way you would bring an emergency situation that people will not attend to it. You have entered into an emergency unit and you are saying, look at this patient, look at that patient. Are you the supervisor? Okay, so that is extremely wrong, and you are invading people's privacy. You are videoing people at their most vulnerable state in an emergency unit. I think that is extremely wrong. We don't need heroes. We don't need heroes at emergency units. Okay, we don't need heroes. And all of us are vulnerable. All of us can go into the hospital anytime. In this country, anybody can fall ill anytime and go to the hospital. When you go to the hospital, you will be attended to. So it's always important that you exercise restraint as a patient. When you get to the emergency unit, allow the MO or whichever doctor or nurse that is supposed to attend to you in the professional manner in which they have been taught. Do not become a hero in one day and try to call people to order and say that people are not doing their work. Look, nurses work very hard in this country. Doctors work very hard in this country. Emergency units are always working 24 hours. They run an 8-hour shift. And so people work very hard. And we must commend the people who are there at the beck and call of our lives when we have challenges. And I think that this is an unfortunate situation. It shouldn't happen. They must investigate it. They must call the young man to order. And maybe they need to check his psyche.
But when they say, okay, so when the hospital says that, I mean, they were overwhelmed, I'm asking, does it create an opportunity for us to rethink how to probably resource these hospitals?
No, you see, Kojo, hospitals are always overwhelmed. That's the nature of a hospital. Emergency units are always an overwhelming unit. Emergency units are always an overwhelming unit. So when you come to the hospital, your first point of contact, if it's an emergency, you go to emergency. If it's OPD, you go to OPD. So if you come to the hospital and it's an emergency and you are attended to and you are stable, then they move you to the various units, either internal medicine, they take you to the ward, they take you to the ICU.
It's not because we don't have enough nurses at the...
No, we can have a conversation later on that, but I'm just trying to create a situation for you to know that in emergency units, it's always an overwhelming situation. In emergency units is always an overwhelming situation.
From the context they put it, that on that particular day, listen, they said on that particular
every
day,
single day.
To be fair,
that's what I'm trying to say. Every single day is an. Yes, every single day is an overwhelming situation for all medical practitioners, because they are always bringing issues that you are either aware of because you've treated it before, or issues that are very different because we're all different human beings. So in emergency units, the emergency is such that every situation is overwhelming, which is why nurses and doctors and health professionals are always trained to have a very calm disposition. And so if you realize, when you enter into the emergency unit, the doctors and the nurses and the health professionals are always watching you, because they need to be able to attend to you. So you as a patient, or you as a family relative who is bringing a patient in, you must also be restrained and allow the health professionals to do their thing.
You're saying that from the video we saw. If we had more nurses there, they couldn't have helped in the situation?
I don't. You see,
Why are you asking for doctors?
Yes, I don't think
it could have been the need
yes,
for
but I really don't think it's an issue of numbers.
So many nurses home without employment.
So we can look at that on a different conversation. All I'm trying to say is that I don't think it's an issue of numbers of more nurses or not. All I'm trying to say is that it is ill professional for either a patient or a family member to go into an emergency unit and start calling on nurses and doctors.
Well, I'm not even asking the question based on his attitude.
Okay.
I'm saying that generally, if you go into hospitals and they say that we are overwhelmed, and we do hear the questions about human resource, and I'm saying there are so many nurses who have been trained 3-4 years sitting home without doing anything. Doesn't situations like this present an opportunity for us to say, can we be creative enough about the solutions that we can afford, we can provide?
Kojo, I agree with you on your point, but all I'm trying to say is that the situation you are trying to paint, that nurses are home, medical professionals are home, and so we need to beef up the numbers, it's not what is going to change the situation of an overwhelming situation in an emergency unit. That's what I'm trying to say.
Maybe
emergency units are always overwhelming. But MFA, just before you go, I just want to state this. I've seen a very growing concern in emergency units, okay? And I like to put this across and also encourage the health professionals. Please, emergency units are not for visitors, okay? MFA, emergency units all around the world. I mean, I don't see how visitors must visit people at emergency units. You only visit people when they are referred from emergency to the ward. I've seen a growing trend in this country where family members and friends want to visit people who are at emergency units. Emergency units are clearly areas for health professionals, for the nurses, for the doctors, for the people that are attending to your patient or your family member. If they go to the ward, you can visit them. Emergency units are extremely private of non-medical people, and I think that is important that I put it across.
Dr. Sasanti, you have talked about our health sector generally, and Kojo seems to be hammering on that point. I'll come back to you again. I mean, beyond this young man being an activist, the situations in our hospitals are just a constant. So sometimes it gets better, sometimes it gets worse. But Kojo is, navigating the conversation to a point where I think might interest you. This should raise another conversation. Just yesterday, a little over 7,000 health workers say that they haven't been paid since January, though they had been granted the certificates to be paid. The Controller General says that, well, they have to purge the register out with ghost names before they can absorb them. This raises many other concerns in our health sectors. What's your reaction to Kojo's very passionate concern this morning?
Yes, I'll come to Kojo's one, but I want to also have a little concern about my good friend Paragraphs, the things he said. He said a lot of things which I agree with. The emergency ward is not a place where people go and visit and all that. But he painted a picture as if all is well at our hospitals. He said professionals are doing their work very well and all that. I can tell my good friend that it's not always the case. I have a case in point. My wife gave birth, and the child, we saw that the eyes were yellow. We took the child to hospital. I won't mention the hospital. The advisor, go and breastfeed. My child ended up with cerebral palsy. At the end of the day, he's dead and gone. Were they working professionally? Please. Then two, the issue about the hospital, the director there or whoever the head, telling us that they were inundated with cases. Right, I agree. But is it also not an opportunity for them to refer them to other hospitals where they will be attended to? What about that? And I struggle to understand that statement that we are overwhelmed. I agree. But don't you have referral hospitals that you can send them to so that they can be attended to? Last point is the issue of the fact that they said the nurses were so, the guy went there attacking people. It's totally wrong. We don't want that in our hospitals, that if you have a concern, you go and attack people and all that. But we have seen also instances where doctors and nurses, or health professionals, let me put it that way, they know that they owe us a duty of care when we are in this condition, but they tend to turn a blind eye. And as Suleimana said, that at a point in time, you have if you don't take care, you become angry. I'm not saying that I would condone any violence at the hospital. No. But all that I'm saying, that sometimes you go there and here you are not being attended to. I wish that on the issue of the fact that look, the gentleman was there at the hospital, and then there is an issue that, oh, your case may not be as very, very severe to warrant immediate attention. Somebody should have gone there and spoken to him that we will attend to you, and that give us a short time. A word or two to the person will calm the person's nerve, and that would have saved the situation. But that said, I'll move on to what? Health workers, and that we need them in this country. Over the years, our statistics have not improved at all. That doctor-to-patient ratio the doctors can give us is not something encouraging. And we've seen government, in spite of all the noise that they tell us that they will do A, B, C, D relative to health issues. Yes, they have not done much, but I can also credit them that they've done their bit. But it's not enough. We need to up our game, get our professionals employed. Here you are. You have a lot of nursing training institutions who have trained nurses, and we have not employed them. Every time we hear call from them that, please, we are sitting home, we are not getting jobs and all that. Last I watched an unfortunate video, and then somebody was telling us that, look, I am a teacher, and that is a little away from this, but I've not been posted to a place and all that, and he is into galamsey and all that. That is not to support galamsey or any illegal activity. But we have some nurses who have been trained with state resources, and they are at home. And you ask yourself, are we ensuring value for money? So I believe that I support Kojo's call, that these things, we must take it seriously and then equip our hospitals with all the tools that doctors also need and health professionals need to work with. Sometimes too, the letters also say this, the doctors, the nurses, the health professionals are there, but they have very little tools to work with. And it's against the labor conditions in this country. You can't employ somebody without giving the person requisite tools to work with. They need that. And then we need the right human resources, manpower to drive these hospitals. Is that the case? Why are we doing this thing to ourselves? They will tell you that budget, but we have money that we throw into other ventures. When we are going for election in this country, I will say it and say it again, that a day to the night before election, we spend this state money, all the monies that they can marshal in this country. Political parties, politicians take it and spend it in this country. And all that we get is that our hospitals are left with little or no resources and all. Shameful acts. We need to change our ways.
Okay.
Richard, does that make you feel any better?
Yeah, of course, because look, you have too many health workers, people who have been trained, sitting home doing nothing. We should find ways of engaging them.
Let's stay with Doc, because Solomon actually acknowledged that he has not read the full OSP report, but surely I would come to you maybe so you have some responses when the other panelists have said something. But Dr. Sasansi, the half-yearly reports from the Office of the Special Prosecutor is in, and it is actually looking at nearly 67 cases. Which one has your attention, if you have seen the report?
Unfortunately, I have not seen the report. What I read was the OSP response to what is going around as rumor about Madam Sisi Ladapa's case and the FBI matter. So the report, I'm sorry, I have not read it. But if you can give me a gist of it, we can make little sense and then later go and read it in full.
Okay, all right then. Let me come to you, Paul Group. Have you seen the report?
No, I haven't seen the report. I've just seen, like my senior Dr. Ansasate said, I've just seen reports of the OSP's fight against Cecilia Dape's FBI clearance. Maybe you share the.
Well, truly.
On the Cecilia Dape,
okay.
The report says. We will recall that the office commenced investigation in July 2023 in respect of suspected corruption and corruption-related offences regarding large amount of money and other valuable items involving Ms. Cecilia Abena Dape, former Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, and her associates. After nearly 7 months of extensive investigation by the office and a parallel inquiry by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, in the United States, no direct and immediate evidence of corruption was found in respect of seized funds and frozen bank account linked to Ms. Dapa and her associate, though the investigation identified strong indications of suspected money laundering and structuring beyond the direct mandate of the office. And they say that in January 2024, they referred the case to the EOCO for commencement of investigation into the identified indications of suspected money laundering and structuring, which are under the direct mandate of EOCO. It says the former EOCO management said they returned the docket to the OSP, but the current EOCO head or management have requested for the docket, and they've indeed sent that docket to EOCO for investigation. So that's the bait on the Cecilia Abinadapa case, that they did not find corruption-related offense, but they found some strong evidence of money laundering and structuring, which they've sent to EOCO to investigate.
And again, Doc, on this particular matter, the reason why the OSP is responding to how the media is reporting it is that it's as though the FBI has cleared her off. No. So the OSP says that the FBI says it hasn't found an immediate link. This does not suggest to corruption, an immediate link. And so the OSP's response is that it do not say that the FBI says it doesn't find or it hasn't found any related corruption. It says that an immediate corruption, and for them that means a lot when it comes to the legal battle. And so we should reorganize the way we are actually discussing this particular topic when it comes to FBI. There's no clearance over there. There's nothing new as well with the Ken Ofori-Atta one. It's up until the way the update that it gave. It also on the Mustafa Hamid one, NPA, former NPA boss, it's also nearly the same as he has been updating us. So basically what it did was to put all of the cases that has been pursuing and giving us an update as requested per mandate of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. So maybe what you want to address is, so far we're a little more than half into the year. So far, the fight, the OSP's mandate, generally, what do you want to say? Not necessarily speaking to each of the cases.
I think that the OSP is doing its job. As to whether we want to look at it all in detail and then see how far we have come, that is another conversation. But I am happy that the OSP from time to time is able to come to the public and share with us updates, because the public has the right to know what their money is being used for in matters of this nature. This office is funded heavily by the state, and we owe it, the OSP owe it a duty to let us know how far they've come. All that we are saying that a lot of cases that have not been concluded, we want to urge the OSP to put in more effort so that we get to the bottom. Because once it delays and drags, it takes the steam away. And sometimes we lose the very essence of what we are investigating. The earlier we got this report, the better, so that it informs decision-making, and it also, if there is a need for some level of advocacy or education, people get them. Because governance without data, governance without information is empty. So we need that as part and parcel of the things that we need to include into our governance calculation and see where the direction in which we have to go. Remember, one of the headaches of this country is the issue of what? Corruption. And corruption has been with us time immemorial. We have tried all manner of schemes to see whether it will work. And so far, it has proved beyond reasonable doubt that all the schemes we have employed before the OSP, we have not seen much. So we want to believe that this one should be the last stop, that it should help us to deal with corruption head on. If we are not able to get that type of result, then I'm afraid we need to, think critically outside the box and get something that works. But for me, what I have seen in the area of corruption is that it's a web of actors who are in there, and they always want to make sure that corruption strives. And if you look at that type of relationship, the patron-client relationship in the area of corruption, until we are able to deal a great blow to this web, and then educate people, strengthen our advocacy on corruption, and then go on with the socialization. We can talk about all manner of legal regimes and all that. People will continue to dabble in corruption. Socialization about corruption, we allow people to grow, get to tertiary school before we introduce them to corruption and its related knowledge and all that. Please let us start the socialization at home, the family, the churches, the mosques, the shrine, the school. And then when they grow, they will not forget about this. And then as they get to higher level of academic excellence, they learn more. And then we as a society, we must also be in a position to say that enough toward corruption, and that we want to deal with corruption head on. That is the way to go.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Sasanti. Palgrave, generally.
OSP. Yes, I'm more. You know. I just want to ask a question. Has this been the standard practice of the OSP? Do we always have him bring media report?
Yes.
Okay.
It's part of their mandate to be.
This is my first time actually seeing a report like this, to be honest. But I think that corruption is important to tackle as a country. It's important that we hold public officials accountable. It's important that the Office of the Special Prosecutor is not used as a tool, as revenge, more like. It should be a tool that should bring public good. Okay, it should be a tool that should bring.
Why is that what you feel it is?
Well, to some extent, sometimes it appears as though there are persons that are either targeted. Okay, I think that if you are responsible for a public entity, you should look for corruption across the value chain of the public sector, basically. Okay, so look across board. I mean, be a police of everybody that is doing everything that is bad, that is putting money at the wrong place. You should look at that, basically. You should be that policeman that looks at that. But
I assure you that's not what they're doing.
Well,
but surely that's what you do before you find out somebody who's doing what's right or wrong.
Sometimes it appears as though, that's what I'm saying, it's my opinion. And sometimes it appears as though it's being used as a tool to either pick on certain personalities and zero in to see whether you find a germ in the microscope that you are looking in. Okay, so I would want to ask the OSP to continually fulfill the mandate that they have been given, to continually ensure that people are held accountable, public officials are held accountable, and to continually sanitize the system of corruption so that we can always have the trust that we have in public officials and the country.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's 7 after 8 a.m. That's how we need to wrap up the news review here. Thank you, Dr. Kwame Asasante, for joining. And Dr. Kwame Asasante is the head for the Center for European Studies, University of Ghana. Dr. Palgrave Dankwa is former spokesperson, governance and security under the Eswell Akufo-Addo government. And Suleiman Abrahima is executive director for the Media Foundation for West Africa. Now, just before we wrap up, let me do this for a friend of mine. Cosmos Ansah is a young man of mine in Ahantawes. His nephew is celebrating the birthday today. He says, may the good Lord bless you, Hannah Kujo. May he lift you and make you a leader of your generation. May he continually be with you all the time. As you celebrate your birthday today, remember that the family is proud of everything you've done and continue to be the good girl you are. This happy birthday to Hannah Kujo in Crawford Agricultural SHS 2, Form 2 student, Home Economics. So to you, Hannah Kujo of Crawford Agricultural SHS in Nzema area, you are in Form 2 Home Economics. A happy birthday to you. Thanks to you too for watching. We'll take a break. I'll be back with our big stories. All right, welcome back to the AM show. Let's do the big stories now. Now, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has released its half-year report of the activities in accordance with the Special Prosecutors Act 959. The office says it is seized with 67 cases at full investigative stage and completed its investigations on the controversial Strategic Mobilization Limited and Ghana Revenue Authority deal. We'll bring you more details in this half-year report. And joining us now is Sammy Darko Esquire, who was formerly sitting here and is now Director, Strategy, Research and Communication Division of the OSP. Sammy, good morning.
Morning.
Well?
We are doing well.
Okay.
A bit tired, but yeah.
Okay.
Duty calls.
First of all, I want to find out from you how this report, just for us to start, how this report helps in the fight against corruption.
Okay, so the people of Ghana decided to create the Office of the Special Prosecutor to answer this issue about independence in prosecution and investigation, especially when those who may have committed the alleged corruption are in government. It's much more easier to prosecute people when they are out of government.
Oh, okay.
So the whole idea of the office is to create an independent body that could hold politicians accountable, politically exposed person. When we say politically exposed person, we mean people that are close associates of politicians.
Okay.
And then generally public officers and people in the private sector who may engage in corruption with the politicians or the public servants. So these are largely our clients. And I understand why the office is always in the news, because the people that are clients, the people who are supposed to investigate, they are like the elite in society. They are the ones that have much of the resources. And they are the ones that are the most powerful. So that's the whole idea, to have an office that is independent of the executive, that is not controlled by the executive, but is able to investigate those in all the branches and then generally public servants. And the lawmaker also said that I want the OSP to be different in that sense that I want a greater transparency in how the OSP conducts its activity to avoid what we call abuse and all that, because such an office has been given enormous powers. And so it says that every 6 months, come to the people of Ghana and tell them what you've done within that 6 months. It's a burden, but it's a responsibility, because then there are some things you don't want to disclose, but you are somehow forced to talk a bit about it to show what you are doing within the time span. So that is why every 6 months, sometimes it exceeds, we do 7 months because of sometimes challenges and all that. But every 6 months, we are supposed to account to the people of Ghana about what we have done so far. So it's a responsibility that has been placed on the OSP. And if you check those who do investigation or prosecute, they don't really have such provision in their laws. But for the OSP, it was expressly stated. So when we do it, it's not because we like to publish or we like to talk. It's a duty that we have to ensure that we carry the people of Ghana along in our investigation. That's why we do that.
Okay.
Do you have any level of discretion to the cases that you make public, despite the mandate to report to us half-yearly?
Yes, I think that this one, it comes with what we call wisdom. So sometimes not everything that we may be able to disclose, especially when we are at preliminary stages. Okay. So we will let you know that this is going on. But a lot of the things sometimes we keep to ourselves, because sometimes if you let it out, you might risk losing evidence and what we call tampering and then interference. So we do that in between.
Okay. How do you balance this with cases that are very high public interest? And I like to think it's the public interest that's fed into the mandates, the request of the mandates to update the people. How do you balance this?
So at the OSP, typically, we do our work on the quiet. The moment so there are two ways we investigate. You may be sitting down and we may get a letter from us saying that you are being invited as an interested party or witness in a case. In that sense, it's just trying to tell you that we only want to ask a few questions of you. We are not considering you as a suspect at this time, or we think you are a necessary party to help us in our investigation. Then we have a second letter. The second letter, when it comes to you, you will see that it's saying you are directed to attend. The words are very clear, directed to attend. And inside the letter, we say that we consider you a suspect.
Okay.
In that sense, we are trying to say that we have some level of information that shows that you might have committed the offense that we are investigating. So that is how we go about it. So when we bring you a letter or we invite you in that manner, depending on what it is, then we are able to go into. But we don't tell people till we are satisfied that, yes, there's some level of evidence before we even bring you in. So typically, we just don't bring, we have moved from the traditional investigative method where people are brought in and then that's when the investigation starts. Usually, we would have done a bit of work before we bring you in.
If you look at the report, the one that has a lot of information, the chronology of how you've put the report, definitely be the former finance minister,
and
the dates and where you are now. For somebody who has not read that report, and for somebody who's just going to be seeing parts of the report, maybe their area of interest would be, where are we with that particular case? And where has the OSP sort of indirectly ended and handed to the Attorney General?
All right. So I'm happy you've taken note of the chronology because we want things to be as transparent as possible. And this has been a matter of high public interest. So we want to be as accurate as possible. Now, where we are now is very simple. We have reached a stage where the OSP has had to activate what we call in international law enforcement mutual legal assistance, specifically extradition. So anytime we talk about, so a person may be declared wanted. At the stage of being declared wanted, we may or we may not know which of the jurisdiction the person is in. And then the next stage is to seek the assistance of Interpol, which is International Law Enforcement Platform, that says that this person is wanted by this jurisdiction. When you find him, alert that jurisdiction. The Interpol red notice is not necessarily a warrant that will arrest the person where they find him. It will alert the host nation that the person has been found here and that activate the necessary process. Now, the next stage will be extradition. Extradition meaning that you want that nation where the person has been found to bring you back the person. So that is where we are. In Ghana, the Office of the Attorney General has been designated under the United Nations Convention Against Corruption Law as the central authority, which means that any form of relationship between you and another law enforcement in another country has to go through the Attorney General.
Okay.
So what we've done now is to put the request through to the United States through the Attorney General. So it's the Attorney General that will work together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and that country's law enforcement. And when they get to the point where the person is ready to be brought down, that host nation will invite the law enforcement agent, in this case the OSP, together to go with the Attorney General and then fiscally take hold of the person and bring the person back to Ghana. You've seen snipers of FBI in Ghana, and people have said that they don't have any power in Ghana to arrest anybody. It's usually done by our law enforcement agency, but you see them also around because they want to be sure that the process is going well. But people forget, extradition is a very long, tall process because the person can even mount legal action in that country. So in Ghana, for instance, there are people who have recently been extradited and they mounted legal challenges here in the court. That took a long while, sometimes 1 year, 3 months and all that. So what people see is just the time where everything has been solved and the person is being extradited. Then they see on TV and they're like, oh, US has been able to do it. Why is it that Ghana has not been able to do it? It goes through a process. At this stage, I cannot give too much detail, but what I can say is that we've reached a stage where we have requested extradition and the Office of the Attorney General is working on that. And when there are results, and I say this advisedly because I said that when things go through, even the person can also mount legal action in that country.
Do you anticipate this? I mean, because, of course, even in Ghana, until you got to that level, he was mounting legal, I would say.
Presently, there are a lot of legal action. They filed numerous suits. But the good news is that they've been unsuccessful in many of them. And some of them, time has even elapsed. So he mounted an action trying to declare, get the court to declare the warrant that was issued to us by the court for his arrest as a nullity. And that he has been unsuccessful. And when he does this, he copies almost everybody, Interpol, Interpol Ghana, Interpol abroad and all that. So there are a lot of legal challenges that people are not aware of. But so far, so good for us. And we anticipate that there will be more legal challenges because people generally want to test the law. And it's well within their rights to test the law. And I must say, OSP is one body that people constantly test the law on us. Mm-hmm. If you compare with other agents, you realize that, I don't know whether because we are fairly new, but a lot of people contest every single thing. Even when we go for seizure orders from the court, people will appeal on the seizure order. So, and that also tells you that corruption is one of the most difficult crimes to fight. Mm-hmm. Often people think it's as easy as ABCD, but it's not. In fact, it's more difficult to investigate corruption than murder.
But Sammy, the man has indicated his intention to be available through video conferencing, which the office has clearly indicated that it's not interested in. Well, why is the office not interested in that but wants him fiscally?
I think we clarified this when the matters came up. We told you that under our jurisdiction, the only way a suspect can be interviewed and all that is when you properly place him under arrest. I don't know if you understand, because he's a suspect. Now, how do we take a statement from you when we have not placed you under arrest? The law doesn't allow for that. Okay. And we have explained it over and over that it's not possible to do that at this stage. But if, for instance, our partners are able to reach him and then place him under arrest and try to let us take whatever we want to take, that is also a good option. But we have not gotten there yet. So when we try to explain to people, they think that the office is being difficult. But it's the legal process.
But
it's the due process.
That he is not well. Can there be exceptions?
Well, I think you are taking us back, but let me explain again. We at the office, we cannot determine whether you are well or not well. We can only determine whether you are well or not well when you are able to bring us certain documentation. So a certified medical report from the hospital, not your personal consultant. Okay. Right, there's a difference. In all these scenarios, the letters that have been coming are from his consultant. Sometimes it's not addressed to us. The biopsy report you stated in the report. Sometimes it's addressed to even the general public. It's never addressed to us physically. If it's addressed to us directly, then you are able to even engage the person. You know, the U.S. system is very privacy strong. But if it's a general open letter and all that, but we don't need letters from your consultant. We need letters from the hospital where you are seeking the treatment. And then when you say you are unwell, there is something we call flight risk report in America. If you go through their hospitals, they will add what we call flight risk report. The flight risk report will certainly say that this person is so sick, he cannot make a travel. This person is so sick that he can't come to you. All those documentations we have not seen. But we can simply not just believe your word. We have to see documentation. And that we have not seen. Sometimes we see documents in the public before it's even addressed to us and all that. But all we have said is that until you show proof, certified, that this and this, it doesn't mean that we don't think you are not sick. We have also said that several people are in Ghana going through medical treatment, but they are reporting every day to court. They are reporting every day to the police. It depends on the level of your sickness. You understand?
Maybe we go to the point where you were before we went back to the health part. I mean, of course, we've made some progress on that. It doesn't look like the OSP is going to take what he says about his health. He will go through what is the accepted or standard requirements that we understand. You made a profound statement that it's quite difficult to investigate corruption than even murder, of course, because for murder, the elements you need to prove are quite clear. But for this stage, would you rather the OSP have the full power to go through the extradition process than what we already have as the law, the Attorney General having the central power? Does it make the work any difficult for you? And I'm asking this because of the mandates that you carry.
Yes, I mean, it's a yes or no, but in every jurisdiction, the executive delegates who is the central authority. At this point in time, the AG is the central authority, and in most jurisdictions, they delegate the Attorney General as the central authority. So I think that there's nothing really wrong about it. But
what update do you have for the Attorney General?
We are an independent office that's supposed to operate independently. And there has never been an OSP in Ghana before. This is the first time we are trying an office. So people even find it very difficult to characterize us because they don't see us fall under any ministry.
Do you see the fairness?
We don't fall under Ministry of Interior. We don't fall under the Attorney General's office. So some people don't even know where we are. But the reason why we are designed like that is to insulate us from all these executive interference or influences. Yeah. But we think that designating the AG as a central authority doesn't deplete what we do. What matters is cooperation, and so far there's been good cooperation. We have submitted it, and we know that the AG is working on it. And when there is light at the end of the tunnel, we will be informed about it. But I do appreciate that many people are impatient. They want things done quickly. And sometimes we understand why sometimes people will denigrate the office or say the office is not working and all that, because they hear about corruption, they feel corruption, they see corruption, and they think nothing is being done about it. But we as a people have accepted democracy. Democracy comes with rule of law. You have to go through processes. Even when you have filed charges in court, they can keep challenging it at almost every stage. And yet people will think that you, the prosecutor, is the one delaying the case. They also do not want to understand that it is not the prosecutor that convicts. It is the court that will convict. And the processes are guided by law.
Do you anticipate currently some of the legal actions that the former finance minister might just be raising? At this point? Yeah, at this point, you do not, huh?
I do not appreciate any of the suits that he's filed. In fact, sometimes, if you ask me, my personal opinion is that, I mean, being a defense attorney before, sometimes I call this just putting wheels in the, or putting spanner in the wheels of the prosecutor.
Okay.
As much as possible,
The second, until the former finance minister, the Cecilia Dapa case was just another one that we all gave oxygen to, and it's still breathing us and now as you're sitting here. And I see some responses from your office as well, because I see the legal language that or the interpretation you want to put to how people are reporting the matter. And it looks like the FBI has now become the poster card boy of this conversation, right? Okay, jurisdiction you have been teaching us. What exactly is the challenge in language? I see you say immediate corruption related.
I get what you're trying to say. I think that usually these are not matters the office would respond to ordinarily.
Okay.
I mean, there have been so many times the media get it wrong on the OSP. Sometimes we're able to call in, correct it. Sometimes we don't have the opportunity. We let it go and all that. But we are dealing with an international partner here. You see a media house, right? FBI clears Cecilia Dapa. How on earth can the FBI clear a Ghanaian politician in Ghana? It's grossly inaccurate, because the FBI does not clear people in Ghana. The FBI doesn't have even jurisdiction in Ghana to clear someone. But the problem is this: they took it from a document we have published. And we are simply trying to say that when you want to take information, present it as a whole in a manner that will do justice to the facts. because this investigation is primarily an investigation by the OSP. Mutual legal assistance brought in the FBI because when, in the course of investigation, there was an international dimension, which is that there were some monies we were looking into that the suspects have said that it came from a particular country, which is the United States. So you needed your foreign partner to go into that matter in that country because it originated from there. You understand me? So when you bring in your foreign partner to go into it, it does not mean that your foreign partner is the one that is clearing somebody. And then, yes, people are also having an issue with this. We said that there was no direct, immediate evidence. It's not the same as saying there is no evidence. You understand? When some people say semantics, it's not semantics, it's facts. The two are not the same. When you say there is no evidence, and when you say there is no direct evidence, we are talking about circumstantial matters here.
In less legalese, what did the FBI do?
Well, as I've just said, they investigated the foreign aspect on their soil.
Okay, and so on their soil,
yes, on their soil,
she has been cleared of anything over there?
Investigative bodies don't clear anyone.
Okay.
They are not clearing. So they will go into the matter. What they find is what they will tell you.
Okay.
So I think the reason why there are issues is because the OSP's limitation when it comes to jurisdiction. And the OSP's limitation when it comes to jurisdiction is simply that under our law, we have particular crimes that the OSP can investigate. And the law also prohibits the OSP from investigating certain crimes. Right. So ordinarily, the OSP cannot take on a money laundering matter as its primary case. However, in the course of investigating, if we have our corruption matter and money laundering is a subset of it, we are able to add it to our charges. But if money laundering is the primary offense we are seeing, then the OSP is barred by law from going into the subject. So you start off an investigation because you are looking. Your mandate is to look into corruption. And the investigation turns around to another crime. Let's give an example. Let's say there is murder here. There's an allegation of murder. And let's say we have two sets of police. Two sets is that one set of the police, they investigate murder. So they come into the matter because they are looking for a dead body and all that. And there's another set of police that they don't investigate murder. They do other crimes, let's say stealing, robbery. Then the police entered here to look into it because everything on the face of it looked like murder. But when they came here, they didn't find a body. Rather, what they found was broken door or smashed door windows and everything in the room taken away, TVs, whatever it is. It's like looting, it's like robbery. Then they say, let me hand it over to the police that's in charge of robbery, stealing, and all that to look into the matter. It doesn't mean that the first police has cleared you of anything. And so the whole idea of wanting to force feed clearance is where has brought about all these propaganda and what I call too much contention on the matter.
Moving forward, what would you be doing with the FBI?
But let's
okay.
Let's stay there. You say there was no immediate evidence of corruption. What did you set out to investigate?
Okay, so let me take you back so that you understand. I think I have to repeat what I told him, what I told her. I said that our jurisdiction is corruption related. Yeah, you understand that?
Yes.
Yeah. So when the matter comes up, we are going into it for that. The fact that you don't find immediate cause of that does not mean that there are no crimes that have been committed. Nobody clears anybody.
So it's not about clearing.
Yes, it's not about clearing.
Corruption, there was no evidence.
It's not that there's no evidence. We said there's no immediate. It does not mean that there's no corruption.
So does it mean that if you prolong the investigation...
It's not about prolonging the investigation. It's that material state. And let me tell you something. Madame Dapa's case, and when you go back to the OSP's recommendations in the half-yearly report, you notice that the OSP is strongly recommending what we call direct provision of unexplained wealth order and reverse burden. Do you know why? one of the reasons why this has become very important is experiences from Madame Dapa's case. Because in every jurisdiction where they fight corruption, from Sierra Leone to Nigeria, and people like to use Nigeria as an example of how the EFCC, that's the anti-corruption body, is able to confiscate a lot of wealth and all that. You know why? Because they have what we call unexplained wealth provision in their law. We had it in our bill, but it was taken out in the course of consideration in Parliament. But that's a very strong tool that every country uses it, from Sierra Leone to Kenya to South Africa to Nigeria to the United States of America to the United Kingdom. They have unexplained wealth. Do you know why it's helpful in the fight against corruption? All we need to do is to prove that your wealth is not legitimate, or you have not been able to provide us with legitimate reasons for your income and wealth. Then the burden shifts to you. Because in the Madame Dapa case, we had proven beyond doubt through our investigation that she could not account for the wealth. But sometimes it's very difficult, and that's why I told MFA that investigation corruption is very difficult. Sometimes directly linking it to an action of corruption, which means bribery or using public office for profit, may be very difficult. It does not mean that there is no corruption or no crime there. But of course, in law, if you are not able to link it, but if we had unexplained wealth provision, now that we have established that we do not think from the evidence we saw that she could explain, the burden would have shifted to her. And remember, we had done a lot of work as to any other reason she gave. We're able to investigate to show it's not true.
So this proposal, you want?
So this proposal, we've been making it from day one, that it's time that Ghana comes up with the unexplained wealth forfeiture provision, which comes with a reverse burden. Mind you, the Constitution already acknowledges reverse burden under Chapter 5. And then if you also go to Article 286 thereabout, the Constitution also says that any wealth which cannot be reasonably explained is illegitimate wealth, right? So we already have it scattered, but we need an act, or that will spell out how this is to be realized. That's what Ghana doesn't have.
Who's to spell this?
Well, the presidency has to do that, and that's why, forgive me, and that's why the request is being made that it's time that we get unexplained wealth provision. It's going to solve a lot of the corruption matters that we have in the system, because we see so many unexplained wealth in the system. People who have not done anything suddenly with wealth. But sometimes trying to prove that this is what they did and didn't got it is difficult. That's why in the framework of international law and in our law, we are saying that there ought to be a reverse, so that you should tell us how you acquired it. I know some people say it's unrealistic, but it's a law internationally. And why should Ghana not be a party to such law that helps the state to control unexplained wealth? Because the more people are acquiring wealth that cannot be explained, the more pressure they put on the system, and people do all manner of things wanting to be rich. People should be able to explain for their wealth. Currently, as I am, I should be able to explain for what I have. You understand me? If you cannot explain for your wealth, then you must tell us how you got it. So you can say you got it through a lottery. We are going to check with the lotteries. You said it's a gift. We are going to check with the GRA, the taxman, to know whether you paid a gift tax on it.
So where we are with the Stella Dapa case is that EOCO, is it that EOCO has taken over completely, or they are doing what they have to do then whilst the OSP still does something?
So the reason why this matter has surfaced, and I am a bit surprised because you and I, those of you in the media, know that this is not the first time we've talked about Madame Dapa's case. So how suddenly FBI becomes a clearing agent or OSP becomes a clearing agent, we are even at a loss. But the reason why,
it's a slang word in Ghana.
The reason why this matter came up simply is because we have to brief the public on what we have done within the 6 months and 7 months. And then we had to tell the people that this case that we had to shelve has now been reopened because the new leadership of EOCO have requested for the docket, and we have sent same to them. So we were only reporting to Ghanaians that the docket has gone back to IOCO for further investigations. So how the facts that we have always narrated in the past 2 years suddenly jumps out as a new fact, and where some media houses try to twist it to make it look like, you know, some people even believe that the FBI in US were the one that had issued a statement clearing Madame Dapa.
I don't believe it.
It was all over the place. And I'm saying that you have saw something from us. And we are telling you that what you have saw is inaccurate, because it's a whole paragraph. You can't take one part and leave the other. Other than that, you want your clickbait, we understand, but there are several ways to still gain traction on the internet.
Okay.
Just by being accurate.
So for the
did you guys publish
not
some?
reading?
I've been trying to search whether
you won't do that.
I search and search and search because I was like,
I like to think I can recite the reports from beginning to end.
For MFS question about whether the OSP is doing something underneath it, OSP won't be doing anything on this.
Well, we have pledged our support that if there is any other thing that they need, we are ready to assist. But right now, the ball is in their court. Right, we've done what we needed to do. Take us like whistleblowers. When we say people don't understand, we have, like the example I give, the police went for murder and didn't see and found that. Then he calls the other guy and says, Charlie, this is what I found. Look into it. It doesn't make us a bad person. Unless you are saying that we should look away and say, oh, let's look away.
In simple terms, for somebody who doesn't understand a lot of legal language, what the situation you're faced with the Cecilia Dapa matter is that, but for the limitation of the kind of laws under which you can investigate here, you're kind of constrained.
Exactly. That's all. So if we had, for instance, unexplained wealth law, we didn't need to send anything to IOCO. Or if, for instance, we could investigate money laundering as a primary offense, then we wouldn't need to go to remain with that. And that's the advantage other law enforcement agencies get across. So if you go to Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and the rest, you see that the anti-corruption body is not limited by any of those financial crimes. They're able to go into everything. So when a matter is with you, you can do virtually everything with it. And so you won't see that lack of jurisdiction. But in Ghana, we have specialized and separated some of them. And that's why the OSP has also made calls that it's hard time that we constitutionalize the office and then make it the focal anti-corruption body so that it's able to investigate almost every financial crime. So we say that let's constitutionalize it and end this debate about whether OSP has the power to prosecute without the Attorney General interfering or not, and then whether the OSP is limited in looking into some other. And we say that let's constitutionalize the OSP, write it in the Constitution, give it all the powers that the law enforcement agency that fights corruption is able to fight with. And then at the end of the day, come up with also what we call the reverse burden and all other laws, including asset verification and publication. These are so we want the Ghana's anti-corruption architecture, having worked with the system we have now, to be improved. And I think that the government is working on things around that. We have made our recommendation to the Constitution Review Commission that we think that having been on the ground for a while, we now understand the limitations and what works and what doesn't work. Box us into the Constitution, clearly give us the autonomy that we need, which is that you separated us. So, for instance, the Attorney General and the DPP, they can focus on hard crimes. Those that are investigated by the police, NIB and the rest, they will focus on that. And then we can focus on corruption and financial crimes. And then with all the other powers we're able to do. Another thing that we talk about, and what people usually will use against us, is that you've noticed that people are always measuring the office. What has it brought? What has it brought? We spend so much money on the office. What has it brought? As if the office is a profit-making venture. So they say, we put this amount of money in the office, and then what have we gotten? Sometimes my boss tells me that let's limit discussing the financials and other things of the office sometimes. So, but sometimes I want to say, let me say a little bit of that. So I had an MP. I think he was the MP for, he was the lawyer for Charles BC, one of the people that we are prosecuting. And he had made this argument that the OSP got maybe 146 million. What has it done with it and all that? And people are comparing what we get. And I'm like, this is a baby institution that has recently been revived, as recent as 2022, 2023. It's in 2023 that we had the full complement of head office staff, 251. As recent as 2023, they have to go through training and all that for almost a year probation, 2024. And this office, when we established it, they never gave the office what we call establishment budget. So when police was set up, they will give what we call establishment budget. They give you all the tools, the logistics, everything for you to start. All the offices mentioned them in Ghana. The OSP never got that. They never got establishment budget. So what the OSP has been doing is that it's been financing the office through its annual budget like those who are already established get. So you realize that a chunk of our money is going into infrastructure. A chunk of our budget is going into infrastructure, setting up, buying computers, servers, office things. The entire office that we have was an empty pavilion.
We'll leave that to the Auditor General to audit.
Is there a fair way to respond to those when you have a clear mandate, you'll be given the resources?
No, so that's where we have not been given the resources. So I think you didn't get me. No. I'm just saying that we've not been given the resources from the word go. You have to build it.
Has been been released.
One of the things that people also do understand, when we say budget of this amount, doesn't mean that that whole amount has been given to you and it's in the office. It's released.
But some monies are released.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that the monies that the OSP need is not the monies that we are talking about. Yes. For any law enforcement, they will tell you.
To go to court and win cases?
Yes, they are not the money. We just don't go to court. The OSP is four institutions put into one. First, it's an investigative body. 2 is an asset recovery body. 3 is a prosecutorial office, independent. 4 is a preventive office. So people will ask, what has the OSP done? We have prevented several things.
So you tell them.
But we've already told people.
They do.
So for instance, we have our works have led to the cancellation of contracts worth millions of Ghana cedis, right? Institutional corruption rates we've done to curtail things when it comes to ghost names, when it comes to payroll fraud. For instance, in the northern region alone, we're able to stop a gap of 34 million annually. So can you imagine if this was not known in the northern region alone and it had continued for 10 years, how much would the state be losing? We do corruption rates at the port, ensure that benchmark values have been reversed and that we are paying realistic taxes at the port. We also streamline what we call auction of car sales and all that. These are things that you may not be able to even feel it or see it tangibly. But there are things, it's like when people say that our state agencies are not working. If they were not working, you wouldn't have the time to even dress up in the morning and go to work. The reason why you're able to dress up and go to work, some people are fighting behind the scenes and ensuring that the nation is peaceful. But because they cannot quantify the things that they are doing, you also not able to grasp your mind around what they are doing. You think that they are not doing anything. So sometimes we make loose comments like nothing. If for nothing at all, the presence of this OSP is a much, much, much better deterrence to the political class. Currently, when you mention the OSP, they know that irrespective of your party color, the OSP is that body that can come for you. Right?
Have you received any invitation to go into any of the appointees of this government?
You mean investigation into the appointment? I cannot disclose such matters, but as people have said, when the OSP was revived under the previous administration, you notice that we were looking into corruption within the administration. We can list a number of them, from Madame Dapa to the former Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, to MPs, to members of the administration, those in state agencies. We looked into it. If the situation presents itself under this administration, it's the same way we are going, because we are independent. We are not looking at party colors. We are looking at the offenses. But sometimes I do acknowledge that some people are of the opinion that the OSP is only going after a particular administration. It's not true. Even the first special prosecutor went into the past as well. Mahama Yariga was investigated. Unfortunately, we lost the case in court. Several other people were called and investigated. So the OSP is working continuum. And the good thing about the OSP is that when there is change in government, it doesn't really affect the OSP. Our cases continue, and then we're able to look into the matters.
Okay.
One of the
on Madam Siladapa about the you said something about the unexplained wealth that we didn't have it here, and that's why it was difficult for you to. But couldn't your partners, the FBI, help from their jurisdiction? If they investigated and found that, well, there's this amount, we cannot trace it to corruption, but can they explain how they got it?
Well, if they have to do it, they have to do with whoever is in the U.S., not here. You understand? And so the people in the U.S. were investigated, were contacted. They made statements. We have all those statements. And that's why we're able to come to a good conclusion and say that this is largely within the remit of money laundering. Yes.
In the report on the matter of Mustafa Abdul Hamid, 9 others, these 9 others, did you add the 3 corporate entities as well? That makes it corporate entity. That makes it the 9 others. And so on August 26th, if you head to court, because as you have said, it's adjourned to August 26th, what would be happening in court? And the count of charges is spread across to all of them.
So the trial will continue.
Okay.
The trial continue. But basically what happened is that although we are in court, there are still investigation ongoing. So the possibility is that the amount that we are looking into will change, for instance, because we expect to uncover more amounts. So in the course of this trial, there may be changes. And when there are changes, that may mean that the OSP is prefabricating, or we are just don't know what we are doing. There is ongoing investigation, especially on the asset level. And so the more they uncover, the more they will come and add to it. And it's possible that even the charges may even change substantially as they uncover more things. But at this stage, what we have is what we've gone with it. But investigation is almost throughout, so trial is over. Because the more we look at other things, the more it leads us to other things. And then you keep on going. That's why sometimes investigators pause. Other than that, you keep digging and digging and digging, and it will take a long time. So it's a very delicate matter, and sometimes even this that I've told you, it helps the other opponent to plan very well. That's why sometimes we don't say certain things on air. But I think that in all, we have an OSP that is now firmly rooted, and that is making progress. I think that the OSP has now gathered momentum, and then is set on a very good path to make progress.
With this momentum, sorry to catch you, but with this momentum, do you have the appetite to go after persons that the Attorney General may have entered nolle prosequi for?
You want to hit our heads against each other. I do not think, we don't concern ourselves with matters that other agencies are doing unless it has a direct bearing on our mandate. So if it does.
If it's corruption related.
If it's corruption related, but it would be unwise for Attorney General to take a decision and you going to reverse it. It doesn't help. Just like the Attorney General also respects our jurisdiction and doesn't also come into matters that we are looking into. I think that the whole idea of specialization is this, that each one goes into the matter that they are more competent to focus on and do. Where there is the need for joint investigations, we are more than ready to do it. So my point is that we are firmly now built up. Yes, there have been a lot of years, and people try to measure us from 2018, 2019, and all that. But also remember that the new special prosecutor, Kisia Javin, took office in 2021. And I said that he had to revive the office practically from comatose. And now the office is now firmly established and seated. But there are a lot more things that the office needs and that we are working towards. And with time, people will see. The issue about delays in trial and all that are not entirely the fault of the OSP. And people should also understand that criminal trial do take some time. The average criminal trial in Ghana is 3 years. So let's say the OSP started real work 2022, 2023. Most of our cases are not even ripe for judgment yet, but some of them have been ripe for judgment, right? And some of them are nearing judgment. And we are saying that with time, we will be making a lot more cases. And if you understand that due process means that the other person will have all the opportunities to test the law at every stage, then you know that the wheel of justice grinds slowly. But when we get to the point, it will happen. And then we don't also think that we will win every case, right? But our hope is that we win our cases. The job of a prosecutor is not necessarily to secure conviction at all costs. The job of a prosecutor is to do justice.
Can I impute the analogy that I've just learned from you now? That, for example, the Attorney General decides to discontinue a particular case. It's just not right, even the optics of it, for another body to want to go into it.
Not necessarily. I'm just saying that.
Because then I was going to Iyoko.
It depends on what. No.
Okay.
Iyoko works for the Attorney General.
Makes sense.
The police works for the Attorney General. The NIB works for the Attorney General. The only institution that doesn't work for the Attorney General is the OSP.
Right.
So they do things for them. So if it's not within our mandate, and if it's within our mandate, there's that mutual respect that we're able to continue. So I'm just saying that your mind is being very mischievous. But
is it?
It's a good question.
Well, your officers went to SML to pick up some equipment there. You tell us in the report that you've concluded. What should Ghanaians know?
Well, what Ghanaians should know is that when the legal year starts, it means that there will be prosecutions when we say we've completed.
Oh,
yes.
What did you find?
When the time is right,
I mean, you took we know that they were monitoring revenue. They were giving revenue assurances. What have you?
Well, at this stage, I cannot disclose any more to you. As you are aware, the OSP is a transparent institution, and when the time is right, you will notice that we are going to make it available to the public. We will tell you everything that was involved, why we are going to court, why this person is being charged, why this person is not being charged, and all that.
Were they monitoring?
As I said, we cannot disclose anything at this point, right? Once the investigation is concluded, let's wait for the directives from the special prosecutor. I just give you a hint that usually when we say it's concluded, it means that there must be consequential action, and one of them is prosecution. Yeah.
Maybe next time when you're not very tired, as you mentioned, we'll go into the nuances that went into Mr. Owusu, the businessman, Adi Owusu, the businessman that was charged together with. We'll go into that.
I mean, the law of the office allows us to go into plea bargain, except that for us, our plea bargain necessarily must result in conviction, which is why you must come out as an ex-convict.
Even with restitution and all?
Yes, that's the law. So you do restitution, but you come out as an ex-convict. Because the whole idea is also to punish you. Not necessarily because you have made restitution, you go free. So that's the whole idea about it. And there are several reasons why you may go into plea bargain. Sometimes it's helping you to get a bigger thing. So that's about it. It's the law that allows us to do. The law doesn't simply say just do only prosecution. It also says that you can go into plea bargain when the person brings it up. You study it, and then the courts will determine whether it's fair or not. Sometimes the courts may disagree and say, can you let a person add a bit of it to it or something, yeah. But the whole idea is also to punish you because you have done something wrong.
I could have this conversation with you till evening.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us today. Could you wrap up on your questions? At least for now, this morning.
Okay. I mean, all I want to say is that it's time we are not saying we are a perfect institution. Yeah. We will make mistakes. But we are allowed to also make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
But we must also understand that the people who work at OSP, they are professionals. They are people who are at the top of their game, right? And then they are doing the best that they can, especially prosecutions. There are battles they fight that we don't get publicity for it. Nobody talks about it. And some of the trials and some of the harassment they face in court and all that, nobody really talks about it. But these are the people who are working behind the scenes for us. The investigators go through all manner of things. Their lives are constantly at risk. Even me sitting here, you think that everybody likes that I've come to sit here. We are all at risk.
It's because we have high demand of your office.
Yes.
We want you to help fight corruption.
And the office is doing what it can, but we need the support. That's why we also carry along Ghanaians. And sometimes some people make it seem that we carrying Ghanaians along means that we are talking too much. Hey, you can't fight corruption and keep quiet.
Okay. Is Mr. Maya Nkunam there?
Yes, he's very alive and well.
I mean, you know, Maya Nkunam there.
Yes, you are referring to the special prosecutor. He's doing very well. You know, there's always propaganda also against the special prosecutor. Every day there is one propaganda. Some even say that he's living like an Arabian king and blah, blah. For Christ's sake, this is an accomplished lawyer
Okay.
who
All right.
who lived his time even before becoming a special prosecutor.
Okay.
He had his cars, he had his toy cars.
It's actually Ankwadobi. It's not Ankona. But anyway, Ankwadobi, which was Ankona.
It's from Daddy Luma. In
Ah.
fact, because of that, if you can end the show.
Ankwanoma. Yeah. Look at me, every woman trying to sing it. Well, thank you, Sammy, for joining us today. We've been joined by Sammy Darko, Esquire, of course, Director, Strategy, Research and Communication Division at the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Now, before we go on that break, just a reminder that make your dream home a reality with EcoBank. Step into your ideal home or transform your current space into one that truly reflects your style and comfort. All with the support from EcoBank. EcoBank has once again partnered with JoyNews to bring you an exciting experience at the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair. This year's edition makes your journey to a comfortable modern home even more accessible and affordable. With EcoBank's Buy Now, Pay Later, you can easily renovate, upgrade or furnish your home to suit your taste and lifestyle. Whether it's elegant home decor, modern furniture, essential electronics like laptops and phones, or solar energy solutions, EcoBank has the right financing tailored to your lifestyle. From staying connected with the latest devices to embracing sustainable living, our flexible consumer loans, asset finance and salary advance products are designed to help you bring your vision to life. So enjoy competitive interest rates, convenient repayment terms, and fast approval from a bank that understands your needs. So visit them at their stand everywhere you see it and take the first step towards the home and lifestyle you deserve. Comfortable home starts with EcoBank. Be part of it. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Well, let's talk about the Design and Technology Institute, because in this world, or in these times that we live in, you need to do things differently to level up your skills and get ahead in this challenging job market. Statistics do show that it's tough out here for university graduates with only a few landing jobs immediately after school. So doing things differently is what you need to do, and that's exactly what Design and Technology Institute does. Now, DTI offers programs ranging from precision welding and fabrication, design, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And their programs, ones that are being, that have the accreditation by the PSM BTech and also so you can sign actually here in Ghana as well as anywhere in the world. So if you're ready to do things differently and chart your path, check out DTI. Visit dtiafrica.com/admissions or call 0541693534 for more information.
Hello there, welcome back to the AM show, and it's that time of the year, Women Arise, and I've joined in the studio to talk about everything you know about this year's edition, all right? This morning, I'm joined by Minister Mrs. Vicky Dixon and Reverend Mrs. Marcella Agbeko, all National Executives, Women of Action. Thank you for joining me in the studio today. It's that time of the year, and I'm certain that a lot of people watching us will be excited that it is time again for women, that woman of resilience. And maybe I should come to you, Rev, first. I mean, over the years since this has been happening, let's measure a bit of impact, what's done for participants and people who have been part of it.
Yeah, I would say this has been happening for over 10 years, and every year's theme is unique, patterned after the need of women. And after every session, we have testimonies of how much the program has impacted women. So this year's theme has the same aim of impacting women, but this time to make the woman more resilient, more robust, to build a stronger relationship with God, and to tap into that which God has for us.
Okay. Yeah. Minister, you as well, what kind of impact have you seen this do for persons who have been part of it?
Okay, so for this program, many ladies have been equipped not only with knowledge, but with skills training. It's put together to empower the woman, give her keys to be an overcomer, to be an effective leader out there, to affect even her society, those around her, her family, what she's doing in the job market. So we've got a lot of testimonies where ladies have been impacted positively. People have got this skills training. You know, we turn them into jobs, income-generating jobs, you know. So again, it affects the livelihood of the lady. And then again, you have a sense of support around you, a sense of community. You have some confidence in you. We go out there, and you know that you can look to your left or right and find a sister who would help you. You know, so these are the testimonies that come out with us coming together every year.
It's good to know, and it's that time of the year. So it's happening between 21st to the 23rd of this year. You want to run us through some of the activities before you tell us? We'll be putting on the screen, as you can see, Archbishop himself is on there. Papa is there, you can see, and all those who will be participating as well, those you should be looking out for. Reverend and Minister will be telling us more, but between 21st and 23rd, what are some of the activities we should be looking out for?
Yeah, so it starts tomorrow, the 21st. That's the opening and ceremony. We have a time of prayer, praise and worship. And ministry will be our own Bishop Unexplained, a man with the cutting edge ministry and prophecy and deliverances. And then on Friday morning, we're going to have skills training, developing and earthing potentials of our women. And after that, we'll have our speaker. In the evening, we'll have 5:30 to 8:30, 5:30 to 9, actually, we'll have Bishop Dr. Irene Hayford, who will be talking about unearthing potentials and discovering the purpose of the woman. Okay. And on Saturday morning, we have health screening. Okay. Eye screening, lipid test, sugar, diabetes, blood pressure. We're going to have a general health screening.
And that's free?
Everything is free. The program is free. You are invited.
Oh,
everyone is invited. The Spintex Road, Action Chapel International. Everything is free. Right after the screening, we'll have our bishop speaking.
Okay.
Beyond that, we have a panel discussion.
Okay.
Where we have people with skills, professionals. We have the deputy speaker, former deputy speaker of Bank of Ghana, Mrs. Elsie Awaji, speaking about her experiences, her challenges, her success story, her journey so far. We'll also have Madam Sheila Zuntaba, Deputy Managing Director of CBG, also coming to share her experiences. So it's all about combining knowledge. So we are renewing knowledge in the spiritual space.
Okay. That's for tomorrow, or you're just giving us a breakdown
of the entire... So Thursday, so let me break down again. So Thursday evening is a spiritual encounter.
Okay.
So we have Bishop Derek Menekpeku coming from a deliverance and prophetic perspective.
Okay.
Then on Friday morning, skills.
Okay.
Skills development.
Okay.
Friday evening, we have our own Bishop, Olivia Doche.
Okay.
She is coming from breaking the chains, breaking every chain around you. So she is that woman of resilience. I call her the no-shaking woman. So this whole thing is about no shaking. No matter what you've seen, the challenges and everything, you know, you are no shaking. You are standing with God. And then Saturday morning is where we have the health screening. And after the health screening, we have Bishop presenting, Bishop Dr. Irene Hayford presenting. And then the speakers, the panelists will talk about the topic. So they're going to break it down and help everybody understand why the woman of resilience, what to expect. And at the end of the day, you realize that you'd have unearthed potentials.
Okay.
Strengthened relationship with God. People will go out there more strengthened.
Minister, tell us why you chose a theme, the woman of resilience. Yeah.
So, women of resilience, because, you know, in this time of our lives, every Christian woman is faced with a lot of challenges. We are in interesting times, quite chaotic, and you have a lot of challenges coming your way. These challenges could be on the professional scene, front, on the your own personal struggles, there could be societal issues, in the job market. You know, all these challenges come out at you, and you're supposed to have your head up high. You're supposed to survive. And the Bible tells us from our theme scripture, which is in Proverbs chapter 31, verse 25, that clothes strength and courage, strength and dignity are her clothing. And she would smile at the time of the storm. She'll smile in time to come. She'll rejoice in time to come. So we want to know, the Bible has told us that it's possible. Your storms and challenges would come, but you can be clothed with strength and dignity and face your storms. So women of the topic we have chosen is to encourage us that we can find strength from God, our faith. And this strength would enable you to even impact other people around you. This theme is to also remind us of our capacity for resilience, and that in the process, you can find hope, find courage, find a support system, find community around you to let you face your challenges with audacity, with confidence, with faith. And finally, this theme would also put you in a position where you'll be ready to do exploits. We are praying and believing that after the convention, we'll all walk away from the conference center emboldened, empowered, with more information, with a sense of community around you, with courage, and also knowing that God is with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rev, it's starting tomorrow. How can we be part of it? Do you need to register? Do you need to just walk in? Do you have to be a church member?
Walk in. You don't have to be a church member. Women Arise is open. In fact, it's a global program. So online, in person, is a walk-in program. It is free, totally free. So anybody, young and old, and it's not just women, but young women, old women, middle-aged women, even men are welcome to the program.
Okay.
Because the topics cut across and it will impact everyone, irrespective of your age.
Okay. Well, that's your camera. I want you to throw a special invitation to anybody that's watching you. Maybe I'll start with Minister. You speak into that camera.
Yeah. Well, so what I'll say finally is the Bible tells us that there is a gift in every person. There's a gift in man. And for our purposes, I'll say there's a gift in woman. Now, this gift will take you, God stirs up this gift in you. And the Bible says to make room for you and take you before kings and princes, before great men and great women. There is something in every woman. Don't wallow in maybe your situations or your challenges, but come out, come and join us. Come and discover that potential. Come and have that potential unearthed. Or sometimes you know it, but you just need some encouragement. And knowledge. Come and join us and let us find purpose. Let us find the strength. Let us find emboldenment. Let us find and be resilient. Let us be able to walk away knowing that we've been clothed with strength, we've been clothed with dignity, and also we know that God is with us, and we can smile at the storms of life as they come.
That's refreshing to hear. Reverend Marcella, you as well.
Yeah. So I'd like to encourage every woman to know that you have a treasure in you, and that treasure needs to be unearthed. And for you to unearth that treasure, you need that kind of relationship with God. You need that contact with the Holy Spirit. So at Women Arise, we are building women of resilience. So come, whether you're wobbly, you're feeble, strong, mighty, low, high, rich, come to Action Chapel, Spintex Road, and God will make you that woman of resilience. And you will find the community in which you can thrive, to build and to empower yourself, discover your potentials, and build yourself into that woman that God has purpose for you to be. Remember, the woman of resilience is clothed with strength and dignity. So just come there and you will see what knowledge can do for you.
Thank you. Is there anything I was supposed to ask that I didn't ask? Maybe you want to share?
Yeah. I just want to add that it's actually been put together by the Action Chapel International under the auspices of the Archbishop and his wife, Lady Rosa. And they are very passionate about what is happening to equip women. And so just to enforce that, please, don't think you don't belong to Action so you can't come.
Okay.
Women all across the world, come and meet our speakers. We didn't talk about this. I think she spoke about the speakers.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. So please come and join us. It's only for 3 days. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We've been speaking to Minister Mrs. Vicky Dixon, and I saw Reverend Mrs. Marcella Agbeko, all national executives of Women of Action. You want to stay with us? There's more on the show. The AM business, the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park continues to rise with quiet majesty. standing as one of Ghana's most cherished tourist destinations. In an interview with my colleague Helen Nakai, Executive Director Dr. Collins Rollins disclosed that management is targeting an ambitious 1 million visitors by the year 2026, a goal he believes is attainable with continued investments and innovation at the site. Here's more in today's edition of AM Business.
The Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park has been named the most visited tourist site here in Ghana, according to the Ghana Tourism Authority. The data reveals a growing interest in this park, and today we are here to find out what has been driving the surge, what have been driving the numbers and interest of people coming here so far. We'll be speaking to the director in charge of this park. We caught up with the director of the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, Dr. Collins Rollins Nonyame, and this is what he had to say in terms of the pull factor.
I think the brand Kwame Nkrumah has something to do with it. In Africa, in the world, across the world, in every country that takes any history class on Africa, there is no other name that is more popular than Kwame Nkrumah name. And in Ghana, even though there has been some recent attempts to downplay his role, clearly he has also been a major brand in Ghana. And his contribution to the history and story of Ghana is unmatched by any standards that you can invent. But I think the other thing that has also played some role in this regard has been the refurbishment of the place, the renovation of the place. I think it has helped. Well, people like to hear stories, but they also like the environment in which those stories are told. And I think that the renovation certainly has helped.
Okay, so in terms of revenue, how much are you able to mobilize?
The fact that over 32 years the place has had no political appointee at my level means that it has also a number of challenges in terms of structure, in terms of a lot of things. As we speak now, we are still struggling with furniture. I mean, common furniture. We are struggling to find working tools for my staff. So we are now struggling to find computers. We have a number of challenges with the facility, even though we just have been renovated. We have a number of challenges with them that we have to get money to solve. For example, if you go outside of this building, you will see that the roof around the building, the roof outside, I mean, kind of almost gone now. That fountain, for example, a part of it broke down. We got the part. We still haven't managed to get it to function well yet. And I have just been told by the engineer that we will need a software upgrade of about $10,000. I said, okay, but this has just been 2 years. So we've been following up with the contractor to see if we have run out of warranty. If we did, in fact, have any warranty at all on the facility there. And if we do, then have we run out of the warranty already, because it's been just 2 years. And so there are issues there. The roof, as I mentioned to you, the roof, if you go outside, and I know that that's something that we're going to have to face sooner than later, it's almost all gone. Especially the transparent roofing sheets that they used. It's almost gone. If you go there, you can verify it for yourself. Now we have to look for money to do it. The electrical system, when I came here, the electrical system was almost off. I mean, the place was in darkness when I came. I said, no, it cannot be. So what we did was to make sure that we get the electricians to come and revamp and reinstate. But even then, doing that revealed a lot of things. Cables that should not be underground. Many things. That shows that, hey, if we, at some point I told them, hey, we have to cut it off and just we have to cut it off, because it seems like the more we continue, the more we'll discover other ones. And we don't have the budget entirely to cover everything. So I said, well, let's do it in phases then. And so we've done one part that is at least working, but we know that there are other parts that we need to do. So water, when we come to water, we use a lot of water. I mean, the washrooms. I mean, it's one place that we've tried to make sure that nobody has any problems with our washrooms.
Dr. Collins further disclosed that management is targeting an ambitious 1 million visitors by the year 2026, a goal he believes is attainable with continued investment and innovation at the site.
The one we will see in 2026 will be phenomenal. It will make you forget the 2024 figure very easily. I think that's what we want to do. We want to push the boundary. Can we have 1 million people visiting this park? Absolutely possible. It will require some work. It will require teams of people with good structures, with good tools to be able to do those things. So we are working on those ones as a basis for now.
Some tourists who visited the park shared their experience.
It's amazing, a very beautiful place. We love the environment. We had beautiful people who took us around. The tour guide was absolutely wonderful. So she took us through the all the memories of Nkrumah, right from his birth up until when he was, where he got buried, where he passed away, and when he was brought back into Ghana. So we love it. It's a beautiful experience, very magnificent place.
He just wanted everyone to be equal and just to be unified as one. And he didn't really matter what race you were or what ethnicity you were, but if we all wanted Africa to be united at the end of the day, that's really all that mattered to him. I think it's a great place for not only kids to learn, but for adults to learn that have never been here. And it's just a good experience to have.
I didn't know we have a place like that in this area. It's awesome, it's beautiful, nice scene, and I'm overwhelmed.
I came here in, I think, 2002. I had my marriage pictures here, and it wasn't the same thing like today. So the place is improved, and I really like it, and I really enjoy it.
It's too expensive for we the students. If we the students, we must pay like 2 cedi or so, it will be better. But this place is amazing.
He also shared plans of uplifting the tourism experience of the park.
People tend to look at this place only as a museum, but there is a change. It's not just a museum or mausoleum, it's also now it's actually a memorial park. A park always has a recreational aspect to it. So what we intend to also do is to improve the recreational content of the park itself. What are we going to do? One of the things is that we're going to create more sitting places around the park. Places that people can come, relax, sit in the evening, in the afternoon. They take break, they can come here. They may not be interested in the story, in the history again, because they may have been here twice or thrice already, but they can come here and relax. We are also trying to reactivate the restaurant. We are also going to be launching what we call the Kwame Nkrumah History Clubs at the secondary schools and the primary schools, basic schools. One thing you will find on our website very soon is the ability to do virtual tours of the place. To go to the website and just by click of a mouse be able to walk through the park. It's there already. I can share the link with you. It's there already. All we need to now is integrate it into the website. We're going to create the virtual tours and create animation out of them. Okay, have the people wear the VR equipment, okay, so they can actually have various experience with the man Kwame Nkrumah, with aspects of him. It could be the day he was declaring independence, it could be the day he made this speech here, it could be the day very various parts of him that we can create in animated forms and help people who, if they come here and they want, sometimes when you come, you have to wait for a tour guide. So by the time they are waiting for the tour guide, they can, for a small fee, be able to actually have this experience. We intend to create, at least in every month, one evening where we have beautiful music. A number of the things that I've said now are in the future, but they are in the immediate, very immediate future. I mean, they should be happening before the end of this year.
As more footsteps find their way here, so does the legacy of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah live on, not just in statues or stories, but in a deeper hold to broaden the horizon of more tourists visiting Ghana.
You're watching the AM show, and quickly before we go for a break, a happy birthday to Harriet Boakye Yadom. Harriet Boakye Yadom, and this one says, I call her Adoma Sikapa. Wishing you more grace, blessings, protection, and long life from above. You are such an amazing person. Enjoy your day, and that is a drop-dead gorgeous woman, Harriet Boakye Yadom. And this is from Yalbethi Figo, director here at JoyNews, and he shall be explaining a little later when we go for this break. Please stay. Well, yeah, Bray, say something.
I'm not going to say anything. But yes, thank you for sticking with us all throughout the morning. It's time for us to say goodbye to you for today. But before we do that, this is a special message to you, Mr. Joshua Akron. It's a message from Max Fuga. He says, happy birthday to you, Mr. Joshua Akron, former president of Laboni Old Students Association. So that's Mr. Joshua Akron there. Do have a great day, sir.
Well, thank you for sticking and staying with us. There's more if you log on to myjoyonline.com. Yeah. And when we wrap, Mamiesi Gamita Thompson will be here with Joy News Desk. But today, a special thank you to Kingsley O2. This is by compulsion. He forced us to say it.
Okay. All right. But just before we bounce off, special greetings from Mr. Gameli Mensah to DSI Pabi Oting of the Ofori-Atta Passport Access Center, as well as all the lovely officers inside there. Officers Asemani and Mordecai, thanks to you very much. That's coming from one of our viewers. Thanks for being a party today. So we'll meet again, God willing, tomorrow.